expectations with being the shortstop for the Yankees, and now you put him in a lineup that doesn't score runs. The expectation is this team should be in the World Series, and he's one of the guys that you feel like can help you get there.
He was as good as you possibly could have imagined last night.
Certainly a night to remember. Great first night for him.
Morning Start with DiPietro and Rothenberg. Weekdays from 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. ESPN New York is your home for the world champion New York Knicks. WHSQ and WCBS FM HD2, New York. This is Carlin.
You know I am not that bright.
On ESPN New York.
Fat, bald, nasally, I got it.
And streaming live on YouTube.
You're welcome.
Damn straight. I'll tell you, Anthony Volpe, there's only one path to him ever wearing the pinstripes again. Let's not get nuts here. But we want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. It's Carlin, 10 o'clock. On this Wednesday on ESPN New York, on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. Also on the way today, the maturity factor is very real. And if you're not paying attention, you're really going to be rudely awakened at some point this season. I guarantee you that. And the Jets have an injury concern that really bothers me. All of it is on the table for you. Buster Olney is going to join us today. Jordan Raanan is going to join us today. We're going to go sideline to sideline today. Am I the nozzle today? And I have to tell you, like, there are some times where you're trying to get things started in your mind mentally. I'm ramping myself up mentally for the show. And I look up at the screen, and I've got a screen that has all of these sound bites to them. And we go through the sound bites, and here's where I can play what Aaron Boone said last night and what Adonai Mitchell said yesterday. And they're all, as you would imagine, having several different screens. They are labeled different ways, and they were labeled Bart and Carlin. And I just looked at the screen, and they were all labeled and Carlin. What a weird way to just suck the life out of me to begin the show today. I told you I wanted to call the show The Interim because we just don't know. Anyway, let's roll. Let's have some fun. 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN. The lines are open right now on George Lombard's debut last night. And what you took out of it, besides the fact that he hit a home run, besides the fact that he's obviously going to be the greatest shortstop in the history of the Yankees, one of his former teammates in Double-A already labeled him the next Derek Jeter. Thanks a lot, kid. That's really freaking helpful. That's really freaking helpful. Has a chance to be special. God, everybody just calm down. My God. I will say this, though. I am a sucker for the moment of the family, of the kid being at the plate, of everybody being on the edge of their seat, of all of that. I am a sucker for it. So when that breaking pitch was hung and he hit a rocket, and you see the parents, like, I don't even have kids. I don't know what that feels like. I imagine it's got to be ridiculously special for those parents to see their kid hit a home run in his second major league at bat and have it be his first ever major league hit. I'm a sucker for that, and it was a nice moment in that Yankee 2-0 win. However, two things become apparent. Number one, you're still not hitting, and number two, you're starting to see them squeeze the bats and starting to see them squeeze in other places as a result of that. Saying they're squeezing in other places is probably not the best way to put that. But these things happen when you're going off the top of your head with some things. No. No. Harvey Cruz, feeling comfortable. Let me take you out of the comfort. No rim shot. Anyway, on the Lombard front, let's just talk about this, all right? We're obviously all not going to get insane about what this is. The kid could go 0 for his next 35, and he could be back in Scranton by the end of next week. we're not going to get too nuts about what's going on here, okay? But there's nothing wrong with hoping that somehow you could have a newer version of the baby bombers if you wanted to. If you wanted to at least think about that as a possibility, because if there's ever one thing that's clear, there is an injection of life that is needed in this team. They're not bad and boring like they have been before. They're not bad and boring like the Mets have been before. They're obviously very good. They are a little boring. They don't have a great energy to them. They're not an exciting brand of baseball type team. They're just a team that's kind of matter of fact. They're going to outpitch you when they win, and they're going to score enough to win games. But that, in and of itself, is going to cause you to manage games differently and to treat games differently. And we're seeing that as a result. What am I saying? Last night, look at Boone in the 8th inning. Yankees are only up 2-0 on 2 solo home runs. They pitched great. Weathers was terrific. Everything going smoothly until all of a sudden, in the 8th inning, a couple of runners get on against Hedrick. He tries to go to second base for a double play. That's not there. It's second and third. Then we're intentionally walking. Bases are loaded. Holy crap, here we come. Now we're up against it. Now we're in a squeeze box. And what's the manager doing? He's getting away from Hedrick, and he's turning instead to Bednar for a 4-out save. This now is not the first time we have seen this. I actually applaud Aaron Boone on doing this. But if you think that Aaron Boone isn't starting to feel the pressure of what's coming up behind him with the Red Sox and the way they're playing, we'll get to that in a minute, and he doesn't see what's in front of him with the Rays, that little area right there, that little squeeze box is getting a little tighter by the moment. We're starting to feel it a little bit more when there is no margin for error. That's a problem. The Yankees are a team that is not constructed to just win games in the margins. When that's what they are, the faults shine through a little bit larger. Like, I'm not blaming anybody for the play at second base. I don't even know if they're turning a double play in that spot. Probably not. Probably not even getting the lead runner at second. But little things like that. Why Dominguez is back in the minors, I think, personally, why Dominguez is back in the minors was absolutely because of that play last week where he overshot the cutoff man and it moved up a runner to second base. And it didn't cost them, but it was just so dumb of a play that we have to really try to deliver messages that we have to be a much smarter baseball team. So when last night Aaron Boone is forced into a situation that he has to now go to Bednar for a 4-out save, and we're getting away from Hedrick that quickly, and granted, maybe Hedrick didn't have it, this Yankee bullpen, which has been so good all season long, guys, don't lean too heavy. Don't lean too heavy on it. Because when you start to do that and you add the pressure because one other area of your team is not getting it done, that's going to come back and bite you in the ass. It didn't last night, but trust me, it will. It did a couple of nights ago. Yankees fought all the way back from a 6-0 deficit. They had a night where they weren't hitting early. They come back. They take a 7-6 lead. And, again, bullpen, not overused. I wouldn't say that yet. But bullpen the other night completely blew it. And there are going to be those nights. I don't get too nuts about that kind of a night. All I'm saying is let's not put so much of the pressure on one area of the team. Let's not do that. Number 2, Lombard. One game. Let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy. Aaron Boone on his debut.
Great first night for him. The home run was great. The defense was tremendous. That play in the hole that he and Jazz turned, it's a pretty special turn, but just see how fluid he is out there, how physical he is, and certainly a night to remember for him and his family too.
Certainly. And great all the way around. We don't know if Lombard is the real deal. We won't know that for quite some time, as we have found out that Anthony Volpe is not. Anthony Volpe, very clearly, though, has one path back to the Yankees, and that is at second base, and that is next year. Anthony Volpe's season as a Yankee, barring injury, is virtually over in my mind. Is virtually over. Because there's no reason, at the very least, to not play Lombard as much as possible. He's not here to sit. Volpe's back in AAA because Lombard is going to play. If Lombard stinks, if he does not hit to save his life over the next few weeks, if the Yankees' offense is still as stagnant, but he's still playing great defense, I still think Lombard's going to get a chance to continue to play because they don't want to take away the kid's confidence and ship him right back to AAA. I don't see where the path to the big leagues for Anthony Volpe is back this season. And I don't know that I see where the path to the pinstripes is back for Anthony Volpe at any place other than second base next season. At any place. Maybe he's somebody at the end of the year that you bring up and you'd rather have somebody who spent some time in the big leagues as an extra infielder to add to the roster, but certainly not somebody that's going to start. Certainly not somebody that's going to factor into what you're doing in the big picture. All a bit of a problem. All a bit of a problem for Anthony Volpe and his future as a Yankee. But I think we've seen enough, haven't we? I think we've learned our lesson when it comes to Volpe. And that lesson is second base is not a place for Volpe where he's ever going to be a great player. What I mean by that is the only future there at second is assuming Chisholm is somewhere else next year. And is Volpe going to keep you from going and getting somebody else? Like, do you all of a sudden think that Volpe at second base is going to be that much better than he was at shortstop? That maybe there's going to be less pressure on him there? No. Anthony Volpe, when we start talking about moving positions, the Yankees quietly sell it to him as, hey, this is what we need to do right now. We're trying to win games. We need you to do what's best for the team. We'll obviously evaluate the future as things go. But Anthony Volpe's Yankee career, I don't think is very far from being over at this point. Nor is there much reason to keep him. Other than as a nice extra piece, a nice insurance policy. Lombard's first game was terrific. Hopefully it continues. Hopefully he's just consistent. But even if he doesn't hit, don't overlook the fact that Volpe's defense just was terrible. For a guy that used to be a Gold Glover, as a rookie was a Gold Glove shortstop, and now has just become a shell of himself. I don't know that his career can ever be saved here in New York. So with the Yankees at this point, in your mind, relying too much on the issues that are out there with the offense, and it's going to end up hurting them in places like the bullpen. 800-919-3776, because truly, when you start to look at it, the Yankees' best lineup might actually end up being one of the younger lineups around, other than when Judge is back and or Bellinger is back. Who knows with Stanton? As I said yesterday, when I hear that it's nice that he got out in the sunlight the other day, that's how we used to talk about my elderly mother when we'd wheel her out into the sun for a couple hours. Like that was a nice day. So that's how we're talking about Giancarlo Stanton now and his career? That's obviously not ideal. So the younger lineup, if Lombard is this guy, if Ben Rice hits like this, can actually be the best option for the Yankees moving forward. Because the younger guys, sometimes they just don't know any better. And in particular with Lombard, I'd love to see that be the case. Football. Jaxson Dart, guys. So in case you missed it, practice yesterday, Jaxson Dart has a touchdown run of 3 yards, takes the football, fires it at the head of Greg Newsome, the cornerback. And it's a 15-yard taunting penalty. And John Harbaugh, of course, enforces it. John Harbaugh asked about
for taunting, so he backed up the extra point and had to do it again.
Did you say anything to Jaxson there?
I think he understands that we don't want it for the game-winning extra point. We don't want it to be a 50-yard extra point. Do you think I need to say anything in that case? Pretty clear cut, right?
You would think, but I don't know. Some coaches would probably give their 2 cents.
Great Jordan Raanan right in there. You'd think, but I don't know. Exactly. I love that Jordan's not backing down at all. Harbaugh's he's going at Jordan a little bit these days, and Jordan's not backing down. We'll talk to Jordan later on in the show. Anyway, Dart takes the football, scores a touchdown, fires it at the head of Greg Newsome, gets a 15-yard penalty. Guys, this immaturity stuff, this has got to stop. This has got to stop. What bothers me is that I hear from guys like Newsome later that, you don't want to take away the guy's edge. You want to make sure that he's continuing to play with the edge that, that makes him him. Can we separate edge from dumbassery? Is that possible? Because at the moment, it doesn't feel like that. And let's be clear. Everybody is relying on this kid. Everybody is relying on this kid, and I don't know that fact is sinking in. Here's Isaiah Likely on the play, and Dart tossing the ball at Newsome.
Just them competing. I mean, training camp, day 2 of pads, getting tired, obviously in the red zone, points are at stake. I mean, that's the type of dog you want in a quarterback, and obviously Newsome, I've been playing him for quite a while. I know he's a dog himself, so he's not going to back down to nobody.
Yeah, I don't care about dogs and quarterbacks and all that stuff. That's the kind of dog you want a quarterback. No, that does not wash in situations like this. God help me, Dart's going to be the undoing of the Giants in a couple of big situations this year. And it's going to drive you up the freaking wall. And I want to know when he's going to grow up. I want to know when he's going to grow up. Last year's one thing. Being better at taking hits, one thing. He's a young quarterback. He's going to go through these things, all that. Fine, guys. When does it start? Because that's just flat out stupid. Stupid. And the Giants, I don't know if anybody caught this. They're not a great football team. You talk about a team that is only going to win in the margins. Dear God, that's the Giants right now. Dear God. The Giants don't have a talented roster, top to bottom. They're better. They certainly have a much better coach than they've had before, but they are not a team that will ever be able to afford those kind of dumb mistakes. So yes, as the head coach says, it would be nice to not have a 50-yard extra point to win a game because you threw the football at somebody's head. You might say, it's only practice, man. What are we doing? There's a universal truth among coaches that you may not believe, but they do. What you do in practice is what you will do in the game. And that's why, in practice, the guys who perform the best are the ones who play. But if I can't trust you to not make a dumb decision in practice, how can I trust you to not make a dumb decision in the game? This Dart crap, it's going to get tiresome. It's going to get tiresome very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. And then there's the Jets and Kenyon Sadiq. I am not feeling great about this situation. I would like to hear from Aaron Glenn on his rookie tight end and what's going on.
So Sadiq, as I said yesterday on the maintenance program, from yesterday, he had a little setback as we watched his exams. So he'll be out a little bit. All right. I can't tell you exactly how long right now, but I will let you know that at some point. But I'm just expecting him to be out for a little bit, but he's working his way back.
He's going to be out for a little bit. And he went on to say that, we hope to have him by the opener. Guys, this is a problem. Whenever you have rookies with injuries in camp, it is such a massive missed opportunity, because it is very much like when pitchers talk about spring training and they're injured and they miss it, and then they have to go through their own spring training. Let's say they're going to miss 2 months into the season. Well, their first couple of starts almost become their own spring training, not just the rehab starts, but the starts that go with it. When you miss out on all that time to ramp up and get ready, that hurts. But now you're talking about a rookie that is not going to get the reps. Kenyon Sadiq has a chance to be a big part of the Jet offense. But right now, I can't imagine that unless he is at the level that we saw Odell Beckham as a rookie, that level of player that Kenyon Sadiq is going to walk in the door week 1 and go out there and have 6 catches for 140 yards and a touchdown. That's not going to happen. And with Aaron Glenn talking this way, it has me a little bit more concerned. He's going to be out for a bit. Then it was, before this, it was maintenance. Then it was this. Then it was that. Here's Connor Rogers this morning from SNY on DiPietro and Rothenberg about the Sadiq injury.
I would say it's a little bit of a problem because he's used in unique ways, and you're a rookie in training camp. And you go out to practice yesterday, like Omar Cooper is all over the field, right? Frank Reich is using these guys in all different ways, and now Sadiq has to watch from the sideline. So it's frustrating to say the least, and it feels like something that's going to linger. And they're dealing with one of those on each side of the ball of guys they have big expectations for. Sadiq on offense and Tavondre Sweat, the big nose tackle they traded for on defense. So, yeah, it's definitely an absolute bummer for an offense for a guy that Frank Reich in the draft room, he had to have Sadiq. This was a huge deal to him, and now they don't know what they're going to get right out of the gate.
He's that level of player when he's on the field, and now you don't know what he's going to be. And those first few games, 4, 5, 6 games, like more than the first third of the season, could very easily be his own training camp, because not only is he still trying to learn the offense, he's trying to get into the kind of shape that you need to be in when you're only going out there and doing all the rehab work, and it's a hernia. So I imagine it's somewhat tricky as to what the guy can and cannot do. So with all of that in mind, that has me a little bit worried for the Jet offense to start the season. I was not expecting Sadiq to walk in the door and to be an incredible player right away. But I was hoping that you could see that athletic ability. And as you heard Connor reference, they're using him in different ways. He's not the truest of tight ends. He's like Jimmy Graham. He's the kind of guy that you're going to line up in a slot, going to line up all over the place. So when you can't do that and the guy's not getting his work, that's putting you behind the 8 ball, and that's really slowing down the progression of the offense. That's bothersome. That's really bothersome. So from my standpoint, I'm concerned about that. I would like to see someone like Sadiq show himself early, because I think he is a dynamic player when healthy. But dear God, like, this is, I just hate seeing a rookie start his career this way, because I don't want to be a downer, but sometimes it like almost feels like with some guys it sets a tone. Like, like the Walker kid just tore his ACL down in Atlanta, right? Didn't he miss a lot of time last year too? Like, that's a guy that they thought was going to walk in the door and be a ridiculously great pass rusher. And then they added James Pierce in that same draft last year, traded up for him. And then he goes and does some of the dumb stuff that he does this offseason, some of the inexcusable stuff, and I believe some domestic assault issues. And next thing you know, you're not anywhere near the position that you need to be in. So with Sadiq, I just don't want this to be setting any kind of a tone. The setback bothers me. The setback bothers me. So the lines are open now for you at 800-919-3776. We also have another convenient way for you to be a part of the program. It's over on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. There is a picture of me over there right now with my arms folded, looking like a tough guy. Tom, you see that? They call that a thumbnail, yeah?
That would be the thumbnail on YouTube right now, yeah.
Thumbnail. Yeah.
Are you not a fan of the picture of yourself that we're using?
It's got a little nozzly-ness to it, doesn't it? Look at me, I'm your tough guy talk show host.
A little bit, but...
Look at me.
Well, what would you rather it be like? Like you smiling and like going like, hey, I'm here? Like something like that? Like, what are we talking?
I don't know. I can honestly say I'd prefer that I didn't look like a nozzle right out of the gate. And I here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post this picture, and in the ESPN New York YouTube chat, you can go there right now and see this picture. But I'm also going to post it on socials as well. Does Carlin look like a nozzle right here? Since it is Wednesday, and we are going to play Am I the Nozzle? You can chime in on that as well. 800-919-3776. Yankee talk, Giant talk, Jet talk, all there for you. Does Lombard play now no matter what? Even off of day one, does Lombard play for the rest of the year? And are we seeing the end of Anthony Volpe as a Yankee? 800-919-3776. Jaxson Dart can certainly just as easily be the undoing of the Giants as he can be the doing of the Giants, if that makes sense. I don't think it does, but whatever. Get on the lines right now. Load them up. Call me. Send me comments. Just get in my grill. 800-919-3776.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
7 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Fans, arrive early at Yankee Stadium on Saturday, August 8th for the 78th Annual Old Timers Day presented by Fresh Direct. See Yankees legends put on the pinstripes again and take the field at Yankee Stadium. Relive memories of your favorite former Yankees and make new memories with your family. After the Old Timers Day ceremony and game conclude, stick around to see your Bronx Bombers take on Atlanta. Get your Saturday, August 8th Old Timers Day tickets presented by Fresh Direct at Yankees.com/tickets today.
A bunch of problems on I-278. First, on 278 eastbound side, Staten Island Expressway eastbound by exit 7. It's an accident with a tractor-trailer. The right lane is closed. The BQE section of 278 westbound side, southbound BQE by the Brooklyn Bridge. That's construction work. Looks like only one lane is open. Outbound Gowanus, westbound 278 38th Street. Broken down vehicle center lane. The LIE's got backups eastbound by 74th Street. In Queens, 2 lanes of construction work. LIE westbound very slow at Springfield Boulevard. 2 lanes are open. The Van Wyck very slow to the construction work at Liberty Avenue. And in New Jersey, Garden State Parkway, a big mess southbound by exit 135 because of an earlier accident at Clark. I'm Bob Williams on 880 ESPN New York.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
There you were, surrounded by fans. Everybody remembers the game. Nobody remembers the guy coughing behind you. Till a few days later, at 2 a.m., you wake up with a fever and your throat's on fire. Now what? Urgent care? Closed. ER? Slammed. Telehealth? Maybe, but the pharmacy's closed. You needed a medical emergency kit. These aren't first aid kits. They contain essential prescriptions used for over 30 common conditions. Sinus and ear infection, UTIs, stomach bugs, traveler's diarrhea, and more on hand before you need them. Use your doctor-developed guidebook to select the right prescription or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. It's like an urgent care and drugstore at home. When you're sick, traveling, or stranded, you'll wish you'd ordered a medical emergency kit. Order online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Does our thumbnail of Chris make him look like a nozzle? 52-48 so far, no. Surprised by that. Go vote in the ESPN New York YouTube channel. I mean, I'm standing there leaning, got my arms folded like I'm a tough guy. Like, come on, please. I'll tell you if I look like a nozzle. That's nozzle. We will play Am I the Nozzle later on today. There is nothing like hearing Michael saying traveler's diarrhea. That from Cesar, Brazil, and why. I mean, I wish I could argue with the point, but it is amazing. Also thinking, a couple of the other comments coming in here on the Yankees. Here it is. When it comes to Lombard has to play for the rest of the season, no matter how this plays out. Now, granted, if he goes over 35, he's not going to play. But this from Special Steve in the chat, he has to play because at this point, there's no better option. You know, I asked this question to Tom before the show. Would you rather see the young guy play in the midst of a season where you have a chance to do something and see what he's got, or would you rather just have the guy that you know what you're going to get? And I'm not even talking about Volpe at that point. I'm talking about Caballero. Would you rather just play that guy? Tom, your take was?
I would much rather play the rookie right now because that is what is most exciting about the team. It actually makes me want to watch the New York Yankees when they otherwise can't score any runs. The pitching might be great, but I'm there for the rookies right now. I want to see what Spencer Jones can do. I especially want to see what our top prospect that is so untouchable on the trade market can do.
This is normally the kind of thing that you're saying when your season's over. But you're saying it now in the midst of a team that just sleepwalks at times through some of these games. It's bizarre.
Exactly. It makes watching the product not as exciting. Seeing some flashes of youth, that's something that's exciting, even if the rest of the team can make me a little infuriated.
Let's get to Subi in Midtown to start us off today. ESPN New York, where the telephone lines are open at 800-919-376. Subi, what's up, baby? How you doing?
Hey, Chris, what do you think about the Red Sox? They put up a 14 spot yesterday versus the White Sox. Their offense seems to be, really good. And something about Fenway Park second half and postseason that's really scary. So what do you think? The Red Sox have any pull on the Yankees this year? And do you think that the Yankees could have flipped Dominguez or Volpe for anything in the trade market, even a Luke Weaver, even if those are high ceiling potential Dominguez, but do you think that they could have gotten anything for Dominguez to help this team this year?
I'm sure that Dominguez was involved in some talks. I feel like the Yankees probably weren't going to just give him away because he's still a young player, and they had protected him and Volpe so much over the last several years and had hyped them up so much. If you give them away this quickly for very little, they were not getting Luke Weaver for him. I don't think they were. So if that was the case, then why trade him? Now, Subi, to your initial point, Red Sox are a problem. Red Sox are officially a problem. Now, every team that goes through a season has good stretches and bad stretches. Red Sox are now 32-8 since June 19th. And what I love the most about what they did the other day is they respected what was going on and said, no, why don't we just take a crack? And, yeah, we're going to roll the dice and trade some of these prospects to go get somebody that can't even help us for a couple of weeks, but somebody that we feel very strongly about. Yeah, the Red Sox are one game in the loss column behind the Yankees right now. One game.
All right, so do you think that Wilson Contreras is more scary than a Stanton or in the postseason coming up? And what does that say? That Stanton's going to be our power bat in the postseason?
Well, we don't. Listen, we don't know what Stanton's going to be at all, dude. We if Stanton's in the dugout, that would be a step forward, would it not? Literally, the manager said the other day, it was nice to see him outside. Literally said that. Can't get nuts about it. David, Elizabeth, ESPN New York. What's up, D? How you doing, brother?
What's going on, Chef? How are you?
I'm good. You?
Same old, same old. Hey, Chef, I think this weekend would be a perfect time to do that Carlin's Corner. Sunday would be good. I don't know what your availability is.
So I have
Sunday
to.
Would be nice.
Unfortunately, it would be. Unfortunately, this weekend, on Thursday, I am flying down to Miami because I've got, do the games on ESPN Radio, some of the games. And I've got 2 Dolphin games very early in the year. So I wanted to get down there to practice at least once or twice. So I have to go down there for Friday and Saturday, and I'm coming back Sunday.
All right, cool, sir.
But soon, though. I promise we will get this before the summer is over. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They upgraded, too. They got a bunch of new things on the menu. I want to try them, so, maybe we could do that together.
So I've got another one this week. Just separately, I got another one this week. From Tony Boys in New Jersey. Are you familiar with Tony Boys?
Tony Boys? No. What town is it located in?
It is a small chain, and I just happened to come across it on social. And when I was driving back from Jet Camp the other day, there was one in Madison. So I literally just on the spot stopped and did a Carlin's Corner table because I know there are 2 or 3, and there's been a lot of talk. They do 2 things. They do cutlet sandwiches, and they do cheesesteaks. So I did a cutlet, a drunk veal cutlet for this week's Carlin's Corner table. That's coming up tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely checking that out. They do cheesesteaks, too. I'm major on cheesesteaks.
Oh,
I'm going to check that out. You said it's in Madison. It's not far.
I know.
All right, awesome.
They got one in Montclair,
this I want to say.
Anyway,
oh,
go
nice.
ahead.
That's even closer. But yeah, but I'll probably go to the Madison one that you went to. But yeah, this is what I want to say on the football note. We have a setback with Sadiq. It kind of stinks. This year, we're trying to use him as a weapon all over, schemes, certain personnel, things of that nature. So I just want him to come back healthy, and he could be productive in the season and, possibly get the offense to be in a okay rhythm. And, as far as camp, things are going pretty well. I do want to say this, Chef, and I want your opinion on this because you're a big football guy as well. When people get interceptions off tips or like breakups and things of that nature, it's still an interception, yes, but I don't view it on the quarterback because the quarterback gave the ball where it needed to be, and it was just tipped, bobbled, and then, it was taken away. Like, what do you personally think of that?
No, I understand what you're saying. Like, if you're saying that the ball hit somebody in the chest, bounced off, and then, it's picked out of the air, I don't love the fact that that's going to get dinged on the quarterback. I would say more often than not, at least 80 to 85% of the time, the quarterback played the biggest role in the interception. Well, maybe 80 might be a little bit heavy, but 75% of the time, the quarterback played the role in the interception unless somebody ran the wrong route or unless, like you said, the ball went off somebody's hands. But even, let's say the ball goes off the receiver's hands, but the pass was high and outside, it's still partially the quarterback's fault for not putting the ball where it needed to be. To me, that's when the ball hits somebody in the chest and bounces off, I get what you're talking about. But otherwise, does not bother me all that much. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. Some of the comments coming in on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. Again, I have to say, my self-esteem has improved quite a bit over the years. But I also just take a lot of pride in knowing who I am, what I am, and there's no pretense about me. Like, there are a lot of guys in this industry, people in this industry, that just have an incredible lack of self-awareness. Just no concept of who they are. I could give you names. I'd probably get fired. So for the moment, I'm going to have the self-awareness to not give you those names. But having said that, when I see myself in a picture with my arms folded, kind of leaning, and I'm wearing a hoodie, that speaks nozzle to me. I don't know. That speaks nozzle. ESPN New York YouTube poll right now. Does our thumbnail photo of Chris make him look like a nozzle? 5644 say no. No, big man. No. So I appreciate the support and the kind words and everything that comes with it. I really, truly do. I'm just not comfortable with it. I'm just getting more and more comfortable with security and confidence and who I am. You're helping build me up. Tsunami, we love you, Chris. Thank you. I love you too. Carlin, ESPN New York.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
There are a million reasons to love New York. Making your budget stretch isn't one of them. According to an independent study, Amazon prices average 14% lower than other retailers. Get food, fashion, furniture, and more shipped straight to your building. Plus, another study found Amazon Prescription Pass customers pay nearly 1/3 less out of pocket. Learn more at aboutamazon.com.
Tricon Construction is growing across New Jersey, delivering larger, more complex commercial projects with the precision today's developers expect. Because when the timelines, capital, and reputation are all on the line, you need more than a contractor. You need a true construction partner. Tricon brings experienced leadership, disciplined project management, and a team built around accountability and execution. From planning to completion, they build with purpose, professionalism, and pride. For serious commercial projects, build with Tricon. Visit TriconBuilds.com. That's TriconBuilds.com.
When's the last time payroll was the easy part of your week? With Gusto, it can be. Gusto is the all-in-one platform designed to take the hassle out of managing your team, from payroll and compliance to hiring, onboarding, and more. With Gusto, you can get back 2 full days each month with all the time you've saved. Go to gusto.com today and learn why over 500,000 small businesses choose Gusto. That's GUSTO.com. Gusto.com.
I'm David Ortiz. When I lost my mom, she was only 46. And I lost my dad to cancer. It was the worst pain I ever felt. It made me think, what will happen with the people I love when my time is up? That's why I have life insurance. Ethos makes it easy. It's all online, take about 10 minutes, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Less than 4 in 10 kids aged 6 through 12 are playing sports regularly. 4 in 10 kids? Let it sink in. Just 4 in 10 kids. ESPN is building a nationwide coalition powered by Disney called Take Back Sports, with the purpose of training more coaches, expanding access, and creating community-driven sports programming that puts kids and fun first. We're working on that story. We hope you'll join us.
Visit takebacksports.org to learn more.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Congratulations, New York. The Knicks did it. Through battle after battle, they dominated to become this year's NBA champions. Day in and day out, the hard work paid off, and you were there every step of the way. Enjoy the crown. Own it, because this year is your year. A part of your legacy that will never be forgotten. So celebrate this moment, show your pride, and shop the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
More in the chat. Marcus Blackman, Yankees have always overhyped their prospects. Case in point, Miguel Andujar. Here's the problem, though. Miguel Andujar went out and won a Rookie of the Year. Luis Heel went out and won a Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago. Like, they hype them up. They do something early, and then it just all goes to crap. It's amazing that that's the case, but it truly is. The hype machine around the Yankee prospects has always been top-notch. What they were really good at, though, for the longest time, see guys like Jesus Montero, was making sure that they traded those guys away and got really good pieces in return. And not that they knew those guys weren't going to pan out, but even if they weren't guys that they felt like were going to be star players, they always hyped them up exceptionally well through their machine in the media and such. Mike, Garden State Parkway, next, ESPN New York. Mike, what's going on?
What's up, Chris? You're looking great these days, buddy. Don't worry about confidence.
Thank you. I know.
Listen, they had to get Adley Rutschman. He was there to be gotten by a team in their division. And you can talk about prospects all you want, but the Yankees are built to win right now. The American League is ready to be had. And the fact that the Red Sox were able to put a package together that got this guy off the Orioles when the Yankees hitting catching is so awful. It's like a freshman being called up to varsity, having never, ever caught an inning on varsity before, and the guy's throwing 100 miles an hour. It's just it's awful watching their catchers hit. And they had a chance to get this guy, and they blew it. They absolutely blew it.
So here's what people would say against it, okay? That Rutschman, the last couple of years, has not been the player that the Orioles expected, and obviously he's banged up right now. But here's where you're 100% correct, Mike. They don't take the chances that they used to take. And the Red Sox looked at what their run was. They did something incredibly risky at the beginning of the year in firing Alex Cora, who's a great manager. But they felt like they needed to make the change, and that was about a power struggle too. And it did not work out right away. But once they got together and got on a run, 32-8 since mid-June, the Red Sox respected that and went after it. So adding Rutschman while giving up a bunch of prospects, hey, if you just continue to be better at developing your farm system, you can be in positions like the Dodgers are. Like the Dodgers are a team that had 5 top 25 prospects as of a week ago before the deadline. 5. And that's not all about money at that point.
I agree. The Red Sox are making a run, and the Yankees just helped them. They just gave them a key piece to their run. They're closer to the Yankees than the Yankees are to the Rays right now.
I'm very frustrated by the fact that we talk about this stuff. And by the way, did anybody notice with the Rays what happened last night? Liam Hicks, grand slam. Rays go out and get a catcher from Miami. Right out of the gate, pays a dividend. Yankees are in a bit of a squeeze box here. Now, look, I'm not going to be the alarmist that jumps up and down about making the playoffs, okay? But the slope is getting slipperier by the day. If that's a word, it is now. The Red Sox have been climbing up you-know-what for so long, and they are 1 game away now in the loss column. And while the Yankees sit behind the Rays in the division, and they still have a healthy lead in the wild card, to just be in the wild card, not be in the first wild card, would certainly be something. And I don't know if you noticed, but the Guardians have done something too. When we talk to Buster Olney an hour from now, this is a man that a couple of nights ago picked the Guardians in the American League. And I cannot wait to talk to him about that. If we have to start talking about the Yankees in terms of the Twins and the Rangers, which I don't think we will, okay? But if we do, oh, holy crap, things have gone completely off the rails. I don't think that's going to happen. Marcus Blackman, Red Sox got fleeced in that deal. They gave up a lot. Yeah, they did. They gave up a lot. We cannot say they got fleeced until we see all those guys pan out. Like, when do you see a lot of those guys pan out? I guess we could say in the Juan Soto deal, we've seen some things pan out for both the Padres and we really more so for Washington when the Padres traded for him. The guys that the Nats got in return turned out pretty good. But when we talk about fleeced, you don't see 3 and 4 guys in one trade all pan out for another team to be great players. You don't see that very often. I tell you what, this fan has been on in here, and I don't even know how to shut it off.
I need you to speak into the microphone a little bit more.
And a fan's been on in here, and I don't even know how to shut it off. I'm not even talking in the microphone anymore because of it. The thing, you ever get a draft right on your neck? Like, you ever go to bed and maybe an air conditioning vent is on your neck, or maybe you don't have the air conditioning and you got the fan on in the room, but the fan is pointed right at your shoulder, and you wake up and you're in pain because of it. It's 150 degrees in this room, and it has been in this studio, has been for, I don't know, at least 2 months. Okay. You want to put me in a sauna? It's not going to hurt anybody. I haven't complained about it once. Turn on the fan. Fan's blowing right in my face, right on my neck, and I can feel it stiffening right up. Trying to turn my head, and then the next thing you know, you can't turn your head for a day and a half because you're in too much pain. You ever have that? You ever wake up? This is like the problem now at the age I'm getting to. Most of my injuries, minor, none major really, but most of my injuries are born out of sleep. I will wake up with the injury. That's how it happens. Not from anything else. My sister blew out her knee playing pickleball. There's a reason I'm not playing pickleball at my age. I'll get out and do stuff. I'll be active. Good chance I'm not going to hurt myself playing golf. Knock on wood. Watch me go rip my oblique up in half next week. Trying to do that. But this fan, they've got like a cheap little fan just sitting right here. And it's not the station. It's got a Jake Asman Show sticker on it, so I assume it's Jake's. But Dave had the fan blowing right on his head all morning long. And now it's like freezing in here. So they have fixed the air conditioning, and it's now 21 degrees in this room. And I can see the guy outside, and I appreciate the efforts of them fixing it. I'm not complaining about the overall conditions in which to work. It's just when you're trying to balance things out, like you go outside, and it's 93 and humid, and you walk inside, and it's 64. Like, I'm that guy. And so this fan was just blowing on my neck, and I could feel the whole thing stiffening up. Somebody's got his cranky pants on today. Carlin, ESPN New York.
Hey, Yankees fans. Join us at Yankee Stadium on Friday, August 21st, as the Yankees take on the Toronto Blue Jays. And don't miss Cody Bellinger Bobblehead Night, presented by T-Mobile. The first 18,000 guests through the gates will take home an exclusive Cody Bellinger bobblehead. Get here early, grab the giveaway, and cheer on the Bronx Bombers. Tickets are available now at Yankees.com/tickets.
When care matters most, experience matters more. The Allure Group is redefining rehabilitation and long-term care across New York with 6 convenient locations. Their expert clinicians create personalized care plans to help you recover, rebuild, and get back to what matters most. From short-term rehab to long-term care, Allure is committed to comfort, dignity, and results. To learn more, visit allurecare.com. The Allure Group, where care meets compassion.
Hi, this is Don LaGreca. Just like the New Jersey Devils bring intensity on the ice, Viking Pest Control brings the same level of protection to your home. And I know because I use Viking at my own place. The season may be over, but pests are always in play. So it's time to lock in your off-season defense. As the pest control provider and proud partner of the Devils, Viking delivers 45 years of trusted experience to keep ants, cockroaches, stinging insects, rodents, mosquitoes, and more out of your zone. And when you bundle pest control mosquito services, you score big savings. One call, one company, total peace of mind. Visit VikingPest.com. Protecting your home inside and out.
This is the Michael K. Show.
I think that when you watch a team every single day, I think we get more of a harsh perspective because teams that are having quote-unquote good years, the injury-decimated Yankees play those teams, and they seem to handle them quite well. Maybe things are not as bad as we all think they are because we're watching them every single day.
The Michael K. Show, weekdays at 1 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. Presented by the Parisman Firm.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg.
Buster only joins us. Who's a team in the American League right now that should scare Yankees fans a little bit?
All of them. There's so much parity in the American League, it's kind of crazy. So if you told me that the Yankees reached the World Series, I wouldn't be shocked. And if you told me they got knocked out in the first round, that wouldn't shock me either. I don't think they have any idea what they're going to get out of Judge and Stan the rest of the year. Like none.
DiPietro and Rothenberg. Morning 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Shohei Ohtani's interpreter was fired today. Ippei Mitsuhara ran up gambling debts to a Southern California bookmaking operation.
The inside story of the biggest scandal in modern baseball.
He was absolutely bananas, the amount of bets he was making. I've never seen anything like it.
From 30 for 30 podcasts, this is The Betrayal of Shohei Ohtani.
Presented by Gusto. Episodes 1 and 2 available now. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
When you tell someone what team you cheer for, do they apologize? Does your first childhood memory involve crying on a Jumbotron? Then you may be a fan of a BST or bad sports team. Luckily, when you bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive, you're protected from things like fire damage caused by violently unplugging the TV. Or an accidental overhand left to the drywall. Visit Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Covered subject to policy terms. Not available in all states or situations.
ESPN New York. Now streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe today and watch the show. WHSQ and WCBS FM HD2 New York. This is Carlin.
You know I am not that bright.
On ESPN New York.
Fat, bald, nasally, I got it.
And streaming live on YouTube.
You're welcome. You're damn straight. Carlin, ESPN New York, YouTube channel. It's got a place where you can go, you can watch the show, you can see all of this. And why wouldn't you want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to be a part of the program through the chat at 800-919-3776? The chat over on YouTube is pretty good here. So let's let some of this fly. Talking about the fact that you get an air conditioner blowing up against your neck. Waking up with a tweaked neck is the worst. You already know it's going to take a while to go back to normal. That's from NY Vice. No doubt. No doubt. You wake up, like you turn your head, and you can't turn your head. Like, oh, I can't look to the right all day long. That's a problem. And then there's also that little muscle that is inside either of your shoulder blades if you're a side sleeper. Now, if you're a side sleeper like me, and, you know, you're putting a little extra weight on it, that's going to hurt your shoulder too. We got the weight coming off. It's gotten better. But you understand. You understand what the problem there is. And also, I appreciate the support. 57% say no, the thumbnail thumbnail picture of me does not make me look like a nozzle with my arms folded in a hoodie on the YouTube chat. So listen, hey, good stuff. Appreciate your support. And maybe my read on what nozzle is a little bit off. I'll tell you what is nozzly. Jaxson Dart is getting quite nozzly. You might not think that this is any big deal, okay? That's you. Yesterday, Jaxson Dart in Giants practice scores a touchdown on a run, 3 yards, takes the football, throws it, just launches it right at the head of Greg Newsome, the cornerback. You make with the yuck and the dance, you little monkey clown. Yeah, you could just shorten that to monkey clown for future reference. Because it was a monkey clown type move. It was stupid. And I'm really getting tired of Jaxson Dart already from an immaturity standpoint. And you might sit there and say, well, it's not like he's out there getting in trouble off the field or anything like that. These stupid little things are things that do catch the attention of the head coach. And it certainly did yesterday.
I think it's a 15-yard penalty for taunting, so he backed up to extra point and had to do it again.
Did you say anything to Jaxson there?
I think he understands that we don't want it, for the game-winning extra point, we don't want it to be a 50-yard extra point. Do you think I need to say anything in that case? Pretty clear cut, right?
You would think, but I don't know. Some coaches would probably give their 2 cents.
There you go. Jordan not backing off.
Pretty clear cut, right?
You would think, but I don't know.
Some coaches might get after him. John and Jordan, there's a little poking back and forth that's going on there, and I love that Jordan's not backing down from it. But the point about it is simply, Jordan's not wrong. John can say, I don't pretty clear cut. Probably don't need to say anything, right? Well, I mean, you would think, but I wouldn't say it definitively. It still happened, didn't it? Still happened. That's a coming over to the bench, waving him over with your finger kind of thing. Hey, come here. Come here, son. Come here. You have to know better at this point, but this guy doesn't know. Jaxson Dart's biggest opponent is not going to be the Eagles. Jaxson Dart's biggest opponent is not going to be the Cowboys or anybody else. His biggest opponent is going to be Jaxson Dart. Okay? And it's not just from a maturity standpoint with this kind of thing. This is just flat out being a dumbass in the moment. I'm not calling him a dumbass. Let's say I'm calling him a temporary dumbass for what is certainly a dumbass move. In every way, that's a dumbass move. You're going to say, well, it's practice. I don't want to ever take away the edge of who a player is, which is like what Isaiah Likely said about this instance.
Just them competing. I mean, training camp, day 2 of pads, getting tired, obviously in the red zone, points are at stake. I mean, that's the type of dog you want in a quarterback, and obviously Newsome, I've been playing him for quite a while. I know he's a dog himself, so he's not going to back down to nobody.
He's a dog. Okay, that's great. It's day 2 in pads. Everybody's tired. This is the point. One of my favorite sayings that I ever heard a coach use was, I want my team to be comfortable in chaos. I want my team to be comfortable in chaos. What does that mean? It means when everything's going nuts around us, we are calm and cool and collected and ready to go. When everything is blowing up, we don't have any problems or concerns because we know how to handle ourselves. And I don't have that feeling with Jaxson Dart. I don't have that feeling yet. You could talk about him being a young player, and you could talk about this being practice. Coaches decide who to play in games off of practice. Jaxson Dart is clearly the Giants' starting quarterback. But when you do things like this and you can't help yourself, that's not being a dog. That's being silly. That's being stupid. That's being selfish. Selfish is the thing that it's being the most because it's taking away a potential chance at winning a game. Because, yeah, if an extra point becomes a 48-yard field goal and that's to potentially win the game, that doesn't mean that you're going to that means that you have put yourself in a terrible spot. Imagine if he misses, you blaming the kicker or you're blaming the guy who put him in that spot? Probably a little bit of both, but more the guy that's putting him in that spot. His arm is not the problem. His athleticism is not the problem, although a little too reliant on it sometimes. The issue is when is he going to eliminate the immature decisions? When I see things like this continue to happen, it does not give me confidence that that's going to be the case, that he's going to eliminate those kinds of things. So when that happens and he fires the football at the helmet of another guy and John Harbaugh says, well, I think it's pretty clear cut. Is it? You don't have to say anything to him? Really? I don't know that it is. Because it's a guy that last year made immature decisions that were selfish that got him hurt. And they're selfish because they hurt the rest of the team. Guys, pay attention. As many great things as this guy does, these dumb mistakes are going to come back to haunt you. And I do not want to be sitting here in week 4 with the Giants and Cardinals game on the line because you played poorly all day. You just had one of those weeks, and the quarterback makes a dumb decision. Picks up a big first down, fires the football at somebody's foot, and tries to spike it and looks stupid and gets a penalty. These kinds of things are the things that cannot happen. And if you don't think that it'll happen with him, you're not paying attention. John Harbaugh is here to change the culture, right? What do you think would have happened last year if that similar thing happened with Brian Daboll as the head coach? Would he have let it go? I don't know if he would have let it go because the guy's a rookie. But if Jordan's asking that question, he's well justified in asking it. Like, you can say it's pretty clear cut. We're year 2, bruh. It might be John Harbaugh's first year, and he might be working on building relationships, including with the coach or with the quarterback, and trying to get a feel for what he is and how he's best going to communicate with him. I'm not saying he has to sit there and scream at him. I'm not saying anything of the sort. But to say that it's clear cut, and I don't have to say anything to him, he already knows. If he already knew, it wouldn't have happened. If he already knew, it wouldn't have happened. And I'll take it a step further. Love everything about his game. Love it all. Certainly don't want to take away from who he is as a quarterback, his identity as a player. Don't want to do any of that. No interest in it. Why would I? What I do want to do is to make him understand that there's a way to harness it. There's the injury stuff from last year. Hopefully that has set in. But as much as like whatever he's going to say in the media scrum later on or what he said this spring, when you continue to do dumb things, I judge you by your actions and not your words, and your words don't mean anything anymore. That's how we collectively should judge people. Judge them by their actions, not by their words. Because their actions, they tell you who they are. Okay? For the most part, their actions tell you who they are. Like, we all have people in our lives that we look at and they might be guys that maybe you don't necessarily trust. I was having a conversation recently with someone. I have never in my life set up a female friend with any male friend that I have ever had. Why? I don't trust those dumbasses to not screw it up. I know what they are because I have seen, based on their actions, who they are. Why would I purposely do that to somebody else? I wouldn't do that. I was having this conversation with somebody. When I see what the actions are, that's how I'm going to judge somebody. Might be my friend. Doesn't mean they're not a dumbass. Jaxson Dart might be my buddy as the quarterback. Doesn't mean he can't do stupid things. Doesn't mean I trust him to not do stupid things. Like, legit, I have like one person ever in my life that was a single guy that I would have set up with a female friend. Ever. Because maybe it says something about me hanging out with the guys that I'm hanging out with. They're not all morons. Some of them have been for sure. 800-919-3776. This is the point about Dart. Until you start to show me with your actions that you are going to do the right things, I'm not going to believe you. Let's talk to Dave in the car on ESPN New York. Dave, what's going on?
Not too much to add, my friend, to what you're saying. Just a little bit here. He's going to really have to prove himself under a really superior coaching staff with analytics and experience. He's going to have to prove himself this year. I personally, at this point, if I'm a Giant fan, he's what you have. Don't look at this guy like he's your future. And the two things that people are pointing out is they're saying you don't want him to not be himself, and they're saying, they're looking at how the coach like Harbaugh is going to view you. How about how the coaches on the other sideline are viewing you? If I'm a coach in the NFL now with any onions, I'm like, this kid is easily rattled. If we crack him or disturb him, he's not going to perform well under pressure.
That's a great point.
Forget about him not being himself. Let me just end with this, okay? You're going to have an attitude adjustment, buddy. He may actually have to change a lot of who he is because he'll end up getting his soul snatched on that field, okay, and be forced to be something else very quickly, like he almost did on the sidelines when he got cracked running and didn't go out of bounds. Let me know your thoughts.
Dave, I think you make an excellent point because when you bring up that somebody can easily get rattled, where do we see that the most? In the NBA, I think. In the NBA, when players know that they can get under your skin and cause you to make a mistake, like Draymond and what he does and how he antagonizes people, how Rodman used to do it, like those are in scouting reports. And when it's in the scouting report that you can rattle a guy, they're going to do, and I'm not just talking about like with a pass rush. You can rattle a guy with your words. You can rattle a guy by chirping. You can rattle a guy by giving him an unnecessary shove here and there, and he's not going to respond well to it. You're going to keep doing it. You're going to keep doing it. So what does that show? I don't care like what Greg Newsome actually said in the moment. What does that show? In the moment of being in practice against your teammate, you acted poorly. Why would I believe that wouldn't happen during a game when even more is on the line, when even more intensity is there? There are a lot of people that I'm a little bit more surprised that there have been as many people in these discussions that have been as down on Dart as I have for these kind of things. And I'll point out a couple in the chat right now. See Money Be Real. Dart wants to be a star, better give a star effort. I don't think it's about effort with him. I think it's just about using your brain in the moment and being able to be calm, comfortable in chaos, calm in chaos. My buddy Joe Fortenbaugh used to read a lot of books, still does, about stoicism and about handling yourself in a very stoic way when it gets to be a situation where you could lose your cool, and learning about leadership through that kind of thing. Joe is a big reader, avid, voracious reader when it came to that kind of stuff. And I admire that. Myself, no interest in self-improvement whatsoever. Whatever has been baked over these years in this body, that cake ain't changing, baby. These are the ABCs of me, and that's your problem. But Joe has a point in doing this because the people who are non-emotional in tight spots are the ones who perform the best. I have been overly emotional in situations before, and it has not served me well. When I'm upset about a decision or upset about a talk show host coming back and taking my spot, when I'm upset about that kind of thing, I have not always handled myself in the best way. And sometimes you end up sending regrettable text messages. Sometimes you end up saying regrettable things. I want to be more like that. So I know from whence I speak on Dart being immature. That's all. I've been immature. We've all been immature in our lives. But I haven't been the quarterback of the New York Giants either. I haven't been the guy that they look to be the face of the franchise. Eitan Tomlinson, Dart and Cam need to grow up. Cam, Like, I hate to say it, like, my hope on Cam is the dude's just a battering ram. That's all he is. And he's going to be an exciting player for a couple of years, but I'm not going to hold Cam Scatterbo to anywhere near the standard that I'm going to hold Jaxson Dart to. Because Cam Scatterbo is simply a running back who does some knucklehead things. And he tries to run people over and invites contact. And that's going to lend itself to a short career. And as we saw in year one, it's going to lend itself to injuries. So with Scatterbo, I'm not going to try to fix that guy. Dart's the guy that has to be fixed. Dart's the guy that people look to and say, you cannot do that kind of thing. That's pretty silly. And when you hurt your team, it's an incredibly selfish act. Haywood Wong, Stoic and Bart don't mix. Stoic and Bart, well, that was a slip. Stoic and Dart don't mix. Bart wasn't necessarily stoic either on the field, but Bart was actually much more stoic in his post-career, especially in, I think I saw him really get upset one time. But guy was really good at that. Dart himself has not shown himself to be able to handle himself in these kind of situations. And that's incredibly frustrating. Incredibly frustrating. 800-919-3776. The other football news out of yesterday involves Kenyon Sadiq, the Jets rookie tight end. Well, he had hernia surgery in the offseason and was working his way back, but had been slowed. And apparently, it's taken a turn in the wrong direction.
So Sadiq, as I said yesterday on the maintenance program, from yesterday, he had a little setback as we watched his exams. So he'll be out a little bit, all right? I can't tell you exactly how long right now, but I will let you know that at some point. But I'm just expecting him to be out for a little bit, but he's working his way back.
All right, so that's the head coach. He'll be out for a little bit. Let's try to interpret that a little bit more. Here's Connor Rogers covering the Jets and Giants on DNR this morning.
I would say it's a little bit of a problem because he's used in unique ways, and you're a rookie in training camp. And you go out to practice yesterday, like Omar Cooper is all over the field, right? Frank Reich is using these guys in all different ways, and now Sadiq has to watch from the sideline. So it's frustrating to say the least, and it feels like something that's going to linger. And you know, they're dealing with one of those on each side of the ball of guys they have big expectations for. Sadiq on offense and Tavondre Sweat, the big nose tackle they traded for on defense. So, yeah, it's definitely an absolute bummer for an offense for a guy that Frank Reich in the draft room, he had to have Sadiq. This was a huge deal to him, and now they don't know what they're going to get right out of the gate.
Sadiq is somebody that I feel confident in saying had an opportunity to make a big impact offensively somewhat early in his career, and meaning a few games into this season. Now that's in doubt. And it's in doubt not that he can make an impact this year at some point, but if he had an entire training camp, I was very confident Kenyon Sadiq's athleticism was going to line him up to do some really good things for the Jets offensively. But now you're going to miss time, and you're going to miss reps, and you're going to miss a lot of them. And training camp for Kenyon Sadiq almost starts to bleed into the season at that point. So if he's down for a bit, that means to me, we're not going to see him for a bit on the field, a couple of weeks, at least doing very much at all, especially when it's a hernia. So if that's the case, when exactly is he a true contributor on the Jet offense during the year? When you don't have training camp to be that guy, it's awfully hard as a rookie to make real impacts, then let alone being somebody that, let's say in baseball, a pitcher who misses some of spring training, like it takes a month or two for them to go through their own spring training and ramp up to get back. Now you're taking a rookie who is just learning about the speed and playing in the NFL, and you're now giving him no opportunity at any kind of reps. That really hurts. It doesn't bury the Jet offense because you've got a lot of guys who are making plays and capable of making plays between Wilson, between Breece Hall, Mason Taylor, and certainly Cooper, who I think can help right away too, and the offensive line. Like, I'd be a lot more concerned if this was an offensive line injury than if it was Kenyon Sadiq. But I would like to see Sadiq out there sooner rather than later because, dear God, I think this guy is a matchup nightmare for other teams. I think this guy is Brock Bowers when healthy. I think this guy is, Jimmy Graham. I really do. I told you there was a coach who told me last year they were playing Oregon, and he walked out on the field during warm-ups, and he had just come out of the tunnel of the stadium, and he's standing next to an Oregon player, and he looks up and he realizes it's Kenyon Sadiq, and he says, "Wait, that's the tight end? We're screwed. We're screwed." That, to me, speaks an awful lot about the level of respect that people had for him, not just size-wise, but player-wise. And when you watch him play at Oregon last year, he's playing in that wide-open offense, can line up all over the place, can do a lot of different things, incredibly athletic. I know it's a rookie, but, you don't see rookies, unless they're Odell Beckham, miss a lot of time and then go out and have an amazing impact right away. Maybe that's Sadiq. I would hope so. I ain't counting on it. It's Carlin, 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. Also on the ESPN YouTube channel where you can watch the show. I would absolutely encourage you to do that and to leave your comments in the chat when we will comment to them, including C-Money Be Real. We're giving Harbaugh a free year? Yeah, no, I think we are giving Harbaugh a free year, at the very least. The Giants are John Harbaugh is not on the hot seat anytime soon. Anytime soon. The dude just got hired. Yes, we are giving him a free year. Soulful Dude. We need Sadiq out there on the field as soon as possible. Every single part of this Jet offense, you cannot afford to lose any of them. That's a guy that teams are not going to be able to cover easily with the size and strength advantage that he's going to have and the athleticism. Carlin, 800-919-3776. On the way, we're going sideline to sideline. Also on the way, Buster Olney on who is now the favorites in the American League, and it ain't who you think it is anymore. Buster joins us in the next 30 minutes.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
That's ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
There you were, surrounded by fans. Everybody remembers the game. Nobody remembers the guy coughing behind you. Till a few days later, at 2 a.m., you wake up with a fever and your throat's on fire. Now what? Urgent care? Closed. ER? Slammed. Telehealth? Maybe, but the pharmacy's closed. You needed a medical emergency kit. These aren't first aid kits. They contain essential prescriptions used for over 30 common conditions. Sinus and ear infection, UTIs, stomach bugs, traveler's diarrhea, and more on hand before you need them. Use your doctor-developed guidebook to select the right prescription or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. It's like an urgent care and drugstore at home. When you're sick, traveling, or stranded, you'll wish you'd ordered a medical emergency kit. Order online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids.
KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
There are a million reasons to love New York. Making your budget stretch isn't one of them. According to an independent study, Amazon prices average 14% lower than other retailers. Get food, fashion, furniture, and more shipped straight to your building. Plus, another study found Amazon Prescription Pass customers pay nearly 1/3 less out of pocket. Learn more at aboutamazon.com.
Shohei Ohtani's interpreter was fired today. Ippei Mitsuhara ran up gambling debts to a Southern California bookmaking operation.
The inside story of the biggest scandal in modern baseball.
He was absolutely bananas, the amount of bets he was making. I've never seen anything like it.
From 30 for 30 podcasts, this is The Betrayal of Shohei Ohtani.
Presented by Gusto. Episodes 1 and 2 available now. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is Lombard's walk-up music, huh? Nice. Carlin, ESPN New York. There's an intriguing story that we will get to, and it'll be in the next half hour or so. It's not this second, but maybe Freddie Peralta was worth it. Story coming out today that will explain that. And that's coming up in just a little bit, though. It's Carlin. It's you at 800-919-3776 on the ESPN New York YouTube chat as well. Right now, though, we turn it over to Tom Bauer, who has got some sideline to sideline with training camp going. All right, Tom.
It's going to happen. This is Sideline to Sideline.
Go, go, go. The return of Sideline to Sideline, at least for me, because I don't know if you guys did it last week or not.
I think we did it once.
Well, good for you
guys. We did it once. I don't know. See, now you just sound ticked off that we did it without you.
No.
You're on vacation.
No. I'm thrilled for the return of Sideline to Sideline because that means football is one step closer to being here in New York.
All right, let's go.
What a great sentence that was.
Yeah.
And speaking of
Tom Bauer, wordsmith.
And speaking of football being closer, the first game of the preseason's tomorrow. Yay! The Hall of Fame game. Oh, yeah, the Panthers and the Cardinals. What a barn burner that's going to be.
We got Carson Beck and who?
Oh, it's not only Carson Beck, another perennial star quarterback. Kenny Pickett starting for the Carolina Panthers.
Nothing says football like Kenny Pickett and Carson Beck.
On a Thursday night in August.
Yeah. Although, I guess with the Cardinals, you'd be a little interested to see Carson Beck.
Yeah, that part will at least be interesting. Kenny Pickett, though, I mean, listen, he was a great Steeler, but, I mean...
No, he was not. He was a great Pittsburgh Panther. That's what he was.
Pittsburgh Panther. Interesting. Yes. Yeah, good for him. And he's a Jersey boy, too. Shout out to him.
He is. He is.
Grew up by me. So, yeah. Any rate, Bijan Robinson and the Falcons reached an agreement on a 3-year extension worth up to $75 million. That will now make him the highest paid running back in NFL history. A record $51 million is going to be guaranteed, 37 of which is at signing. The running back market, Chris, now starting to heat up after like a few years ago, I think it was, where teams were topping out at $12, $13 million a year for a running back.
Yep.
Now it looks like they're actually proving that their worth is something that teams are actually valuing.
So he was holding in, so to speak. Okay? I am really curious to see now what happens with Jahmyr Gibbs, because Gibbs is doing the same thing. And I would think that Gibbs is going to get more than Robinson. So that was 3 for 75.
That is correct.
With what? How much guaranteed? 60?
That is 51 guaranteed.
51 guaranteed.
37 at signing.
37 up front. Now, Bijan Robinson is the kind of guy in every way. Great player, great human that you want to reward and pay to be in your, that guy in your franchise. Is he going to make that much of a difference for the Atlanta Falcons to win this season? I don't know. Next couple years, possibly, but I don't know about that. Jahmyr Gibbs, so I'm just going to, he'll get more. I would assume excellent. Yesterday was an excellent day for Jahmyr Gibbs. Watch him get 3 for 80 and 55 guaranteed, something like that. I would expect that, but Jahmyr Gibbs with the Lions is doing the same thing and holding in right now.
Yeah,
where he's just not practicing.
Yeah, 5th consecutive practice as of yesterday that he was holding out on. And Dan Campbell, I don't know if you're going to believe this or not, he said Robinson's deal, it's not going to hurt us, but we'll see. I'm anxious to get Gibbs back out there. Yeah, I think it's going to hurt them because they're going to end up paying more for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Agreed. Next.
Some more Falcons news. Yesterday it was reported.
Can't get enough.
Yeah, can't get enough around here. Falcons edge rusher Jalen Walker yesterday feared to have a torn ACL at practice. Adam Schefter this morning confirming the diagnosis. The Falcons now have confirmed Jalen Walker will miss the entire season due to a torn ACL. That's a blow to the Falcons.
So Jalen Walker was a guy that they drafted last year. The Falcons were trying to address their pass rush in a huge way in the draft last season. So last year, played in 15, more games than I thought, had 5.5 sacks in 15 games. I did not think he played that much. But he plays, now he's out for the year, and the James Pierce situation, that's still up in the air if I'm not mistaken, because he had the legal arrest this offseason with the domestic violence situation. Let's see, he entered a 1-year pretrial diversion. So is he back and practicing with the Falcons right now? NFL discipline. He is eligible to practice and play in the interim. Anticipated to get a baseline suspension from the league. Hasn't had it yet. Pierce is back on the practice field right now, getting ready for the season. But they're obviously going to lose him for a couple of games too. The Falcons went big into this in the draft last year, and as a result, they're kind of getting kicked in the pants, first with the injury and now with this with Pierce. All right, good talk, Tom. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I'm all here
Any
for
more
it.
Falcons news?
No more Falcons news, unless you really want to get into the debate of who should be the starting quarterback down there.
I don't.
Okay, well, that's good. The Ravens, they extended Zay Flowers yesterday. 4 years, $140 million. $108 million guaranteed to Zay Flowers. That puts him at an average of $35 million per year. He's tied with Justin Jefferson in new money average for the year. Jackson Smith-Njigba is making 42, Jamar Chase at 40, Drake London 35, and then you've got Zay Flowers and Justin Jefferson tied at 4, CeeDee Lamb right behind them by $1 million. Chris, riddle me this.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers, he's a top 5 receiver in the NFL? Or is he just Lamar's, top weapon, and that's why they're rewarding him so handsomely?
Zay Flowers is a great receiver, okay? Should he have gotten that level of money? No. Last year, 86 catches, 1,200 yards. Has pretty much, I think he's missed one game in his career. Only had 5 touchdowns. So that, he's now highest paid. He's over Jackson Smith-Njigba or just behind him?
No, so he's behind Jackson Smith-Njigba by about $7 million. Zay Flowers is now tied for the 4th highest paid wide receiver in the NFL.
Is he top 4, top 5? I don't know about that. I think he's top 10. He's an explosive player. Hasn't found the end zone as much as I thought he would. Had his best season. After year 3, Did they need to pay Zay Flowers that much? I know we can make the argument that it's only going to get more expensive, but $108 million guaranteed?
That's a lot.
That's a big number.
Now, are we just kind of being mean to Zay here just because Lamar Jackson is more of a running type of quarterback because he doesn't throw it as much?
No, Zay's a great player. Zay's a great player. I would love to have him on any team because I think he's a guy that can absolutely take it to the house on any play. Is he a top 5 receiver in the league? No, I would not say that. I would not say that. And then the other guy that got paid yesterday, and I don't know if this was in your upcoming thing, so I hate to cut you off, but Darnell Wright from the Bears, the right tackle. Do you have those numbers? Because those were eye-opening as well.
Oh, I sure do, because that was the next tab I was about to open here.
Yeah, you were.
That is $116 million.
We're just like this, right eye to eye.
Simpatico. That's what we are, my friend.
116?
116 total, $93 million guaranteed. He's the highest paid right tackle in NFL history now.
Yeah, that one surprised me. The Bears had an excellent offensive line. They had the center retire unexpectedly after they paid him. If you'll remember, he came over in free agency last year, gave him big money, and then he retires after 1 year. That, to me, is probably why Darnell Wright got paid when he did, because the Bears might have figured if we wait another year on Darnell Wright, that price is definitely going to go up. But, boy, $93 million guaranteed for a right tackle. This is how much they feel about Caleb Williams and what he's able to be if they protect him. And their offensive line was a big part of their success last season.
Oh, listen, Jets fans, just think. This is the amount of money, probably even more, that you might have to pay Armand Membu someday.
Or, listen, Fashionu's going to get paid too.
Or Fashionu, he'll probably have to get paid first.
This is year 3 coming up for Fashanu? Yes. Year 2 for Membu, year 3 for Fashanu. So, Fashanu, cannot hate seeing that number for a right tackle. It'd be interesting. Next.
I got one more for you, Chris, before we bring on Buster Olney. Micah Parsons, his recovery time. Well, it's looking like he's giving us a little bit of a view into the future about maybe when he'll be returning to the Green Bay Packers, because he's highlighting their Week 6 game against his former team, the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to Lambeau Field Week 6. Parsons saying yesterday, I think it's very realistic that I return in time for that game.
See, okay. First of all, if he forces it, that's dumb. Secondly, I would love to see that not be his first game back. Because as amped as Parsons is going to be anyway, it's even going to be more so off the charts. Like that, it's not an ideal situation to me if that's his first game. 800-919-3776. Freddie Peralta may have been worth it after all. We'll get into that. Buster Olney joins us next on the best team in the American League.
Miller time. People think it just happens, but that's not true. You know what you got to do? You got to go say hello with some beers. Make the plans. Forget the couch. Go to that thing. Play the game. See them in person. Talk to that stranger. Live a little. Small acts of rebellion that bring us together. Because legendary moments start with a light. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2026 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Whoever said fork in the road must have been hungry for the Sorrento and Sorrento Turbo Hybrid. Their 3-row seating and 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. With a capable Sorrento and Sorrento Turbo Hybrid, every way forward is the right way. Visit your local Kia dealer today. Kia. Movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Drive safely. See retailer for warranty details.
Monkey Sports, built by players for players, is your one-stop shop for hockey, baseball, lacrosse, and more. Find top-name equipment and expert in-store services like sharpening, break-ins, and relacing. Shop in-store at Monkey Sports in Farmingdale or Woodbridge, or online for all the top brands. Whatever your sports, Monkey Sports gets you game ready fast. Monkey Sports, where athletes shop.
D'Agostino, Law, Bite Back. This is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates.
and I know how a serious accident can change your life just like that.
I'm Jenna D'Agostino, and I understand that with pain comes medical bills and time out of work. Let us get you justice.
This is John Ryan, the closer. For over 35 years, our family has been getting accident victims every dollar they deserve.
I started this firm for the injured so they can bite back against the insurance companies.
Our legacy is to get you justice. Bite back.
To get you paid, bite back.
At D'Agostino and Associates, bite back means fight back. When you're hurt and they blame you, we bite back and get you every dollar you deserve. We have offices throughout New York and New Jersey, so call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. 1-800-248-3222. I've been there, and I'll be there for you.
Hot damn! Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea just got harder with Twisted Tea Extreme. The hard iced tea taste you know and love, but with an 8% kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Extreme is made with real brewed tea, goes down smooth, and brings your daytime drinking to the next level. Just look for the bright yellow cans in the cooler and get ready to dial up the fun. Big flavor, extreme kick. Twisted Tea Extreme. Keep it twisted!
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as... That's 888-665-0696.
Congratulations, New York. The Knicks did it. Through battle after battle, they dominated to become this year's NBA champions. Day in and day out, the hard work paid off, and you were there every step of the way. Enjoy the crown. Own it, because this year is your year. A part of your legacy that will never be forgotten. So celebrate this moment, show your pride, and shop the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
You want to get smarter about baseball, you go to one place. You go to Buster Olney's podcast, the Baseball Tonight podcast, every day, wherever you get your podcasts. He, of course, senior MLB insider, joining us right now. Buster, it's Chris Carlin in New York. Appreciate the time. How we doing?
Hey, Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Let's just start right here. After the trade deadline the other day, the best team in the American League is now who?
Oh, so on television, when they asked us that question, I said Cleveland, but I'm not invested in that. Like, I'm not sitting here banging the drum on the Cleveland Guardians. I liked what they did at the deadline, but the American League is so wide open that I think if you are the White Sox, if you are the Red Sox, if you are the Yankees, Mariners, I mean, you can dream reasonably on a World Series appearance because it's a Tampa Bay. You can absolutely dream that, you know what, if things go right, we do this, we can play in the World Series in a way that you can't in the National League, because the mountains are just a little bit higher in the National League, or a lot higher in the National League than they are in the American League.
Okay, so I'll frame it a different way then. Is this now a whole lot more wide open than it was about a month ago in relation to the Yankees? In other words, it was the Yankees there for the taking, it seemed at one point, and now maybe not so much.
So, yes, I think it's I mean, certainly the emergence of the Red Sox has really jumped out. The fact that Cleveland's gotten better, I think, through the trade deadline. I think Tampa Bay got better through the trade deadline. I do think it's more open, but I would say there is a reasonable path. If you look at the Yankees and you can say that could be a really good team by the time we get to October. With their starting rotation, which is the best in the American League when they get all these guys back. Their bullpen could be one of the best when they make the move. If, in fact, Weathers goes to the bullpen or Will Warren's going to the bullpen, somehow the bullpen's going to get better when they get all their starters healthy. And, of course, the big X factor is Aaron Judge. When he gets back, if he's close to what he has been in the past, if he goes back to being a star, that's the best team in the American League. But we just don't know where Judge is going to be physically when we see him in September.
Yeah, they did. It's not that they didn't sound optimistic or they sounded pessimistic the other day. We just didn't really get a sense of what they thought in general about Judge. What are you hearing in terms of just the expectation of when they could see him?
That's because they don't know.
Yeah.
Like they don't know how he's going to hold it physically. We heard that he'd been hurting for a while, and then as time was going on, and eventually it became too much for him to play through. Because Chris, these guys play through nagging injuries all the time. The question is, how effectively can you do that? And it's pretty clear that over time, Aaron Judge was losing ground to this injury. And they're confident that they're going to get him back on the field. They're confident that, he'll have an opportunity to play. But given the nature of the injury, and please don't ask me to describe all the nuances of that, okay, because I'm not a doctor. But given the nature of the injury, what I'm told is that, we'll see how it holds up day by day by day. With the grind of playing a baseball season.
Buster Olney with us, senior MLB writer, and of course, insider as well. The Baseball Tonight podcast is the best baseball podcast out there right now. Buster, with that in mind, what was your evaluation of Brian Cashman's trade deadline?
I think I gave him, when we were giving grades the other day, if I remember correctly, I think a B+, because here's the deal. In some cases, a team's need matched the market. The Chicago Cubs went into the market knowing that they needed starting pitching. Guess what? The market was filled with starting pitching. The Yankees went into the market needing a right-handed hitter and a bullpen piece, and the market was wildly thin on right-handed hitting, and it was pretty thin on bullpen help. 2 weeks ago, we thought that they would get involved with Mason Miller. I'm convinced of that, by the way. But then the Padres started winning. So Mason Miller, Morejon came off the board, and that market got really weak. So I think this was Brian Cashman making the best of a imperfect situation. At some point, they were like, well, we'd love to have a great right-handed hitter, but there's not that guy in the marketplace. And he's not the only one saying that, by the way. And so they get the guy who's probably the best hitter in the market, Luis Garcia Jr. They land him, figuring that, hey, at the very least, he's going to make our offense better one way or another. And I'm sure that by the time we got to, the All-Star break, a week after the All-Star break, their thinking also was, as we look at our lineup and we're hoping for better balance, George Lombard Jr. could help. And so they wind up, adding guys who it's a little bit island and misfit toys with the first base DH situation. We'll see how they sort that out with Stan, but they're better. They have better players than they did 4 days ago.
Should they have been more involved on the catching thing that when we see Liam Hicks go to Tampa, left-handed hitter, mind you, and we see Adley Rutschman and the Red Sox give up what they gave up to get him. But, Red Sox were convinced enough about their chances to really roll the dice there.
I can absolutely see why you would be afraid, right? You have Adley Rutschman, who has not played since July 18th as a catcher, a left wrist inflammation situation. That has to be concerning. And then in the end, the Red Sox, and give them credit, their front office said, we're going all in on Adley Rutschman, on a guy who isn't going to play right away. And I don't know the reason why the Yankees, didn't. Maybe because we've heard situations like when the Tigers talked to the Yankees about Skubal, it was George Lombard Jr. has to be in the deal. In the end, the Yankees weren't going to go all in there. People talked about Tyler Stevenson. The concern there was he's not regarded as a good defender. Teams don't like adding that type of catcher late in the season because they're not going to be accustomed to catching the pitchers. They want to keep the pitchers as comfortable as they can possibly be. And by the way, Liam Hicks is considered to be an excellent offensive player. The same thing is said about him. Like, he's not a great defender. Tampa Bay, and maybe because it feels like that they do more top-down direction with their catching, maybe they felt more comfortable with that than the Yankees did. So, they just weren't, we all thought all along that they were going to go after Ryan Jeffers, and the Twins, even in 3-4 days left, I was hearing from other teams, maybe the Twins will give up Ryan Jeffers at some point. They never did. And that would have been the best option for the Yankees.
And they sit here a game out, and you can understand why they didn't do it. Buster, let's flip to the Mets for a minute. They obviously held a massive sell-off. What was your takeaway from what the return was overall? and how it could potentially, can any of this potentially help in 2027? Because that's what they're trying to sell us on here.
Well, yeah, it can. And their depth got better in the minor league system. I'm not going to be Joe Prospect Evaluator.
Sure.
I'm just parroting what I'm hearing from other people. They say, they did fine. I saw the criticism of the Peralta trade. Here's the part that is not right about that. Not only did the Mets, have a bad season with Peralta performing for them, but he had a bad year. He lost all of his trade value. They weren't going to get anything good for Freddie Peralta because he'd been so poor for them. And you can understand why the Rays, with that great history of resurrecting pitchers, would take a shot at him and say, hey, we'll do for you what the Astros did for Justin Verlander 2017, help you get better. But no one was going to pay for Freddie's performance. So not only did David lose out by not getting the performance that he wanted, but in the end, when they had to flip Peralta's lack of performance hurt him there too. So I was not surprised they didn't get much for a 2-month rental for a guy with a 5 ERA.
Buster Olney with us, and of course the Baseball Tonight podcast. Check it out if you haven't. You're not getting enough information on baseball very clearly. So having said all of that, I look at what next year's payroll looks like, and if we're going to make the assumption that Bo Bichette does not opt out, doesn't think he can get more than $85 million somewhere else next year, they have $250 million already committed, and it looks like a Herculean type task to try to change what the expectations are going to be next year in short order for David Stearns. Has he put himself in a deep enough hole where this is virtually impossible to try to turn them into a winning team right away, considering what all their commitments are?
I thought he was the executive under the most pressure, really the person in baseball under the most pressure coming into 2026, and it's been a disaster. It's almost as if he were to flip a coin 10 times, and he said heads every time, and it came up tails 10 times out of 10. I mean, it really is remarkable. You'd think that at some point he got lucky, and where that has left the Mets now is a really in a difficult position to identify where rock bottom is. What is the foundation going forward? You got Nolan McLean. You got a couple of young outfielders. That's the best thing that's going to come out of 2026. And then you have this really unwieldy, payroll situation you just laid out. And here's the X factor and all that. We don't even know what the economic system is going to look like.
Yeah.
Okay. What happens if the owners wind up winning this labor war and they get some version of a salary cap? How will the Mets squeeze a Juan Soto contract into that dynamic? And that, what's going to happen in Francisco Lindor's contract? There are just so many unknowns about where they sit here now, which is why, recently when Steve Cohen did that interview on the New York Post podcast, and he was asked about looking ahead to next year, he said rightly, we're really concerned. He's concerned about this. And he was asked about what moving forward was he expecting. He basically said the front office has to be imaginative. That's like saying, here, you got a few nickels, do what you can to make a meal out of that. That's where the Mets are right now.
Last thing on Soto, do you think, just keeping that in mind, and I'm not asking you to predict the future on what the finances in baseball are going to look like, but put it this way. Is the Soto-Lindor thing a big enough thing where that is a problem long-term, or if those two are eventually broken it up, is it more likely financially based?
You know what's really interesting about that, and I saw Jorge's great story just before I came on with you. What's interesting about that is the idea that Freddie Peralta would be the one to be the broker of that dinner. I thought all along, because I heard, everyone in baseball heard, during the 2025 season that there was this tension between the two. And given Francisco is not someone who's going to come in and be a clubhouse cancer, right? Juan Soto is not going to come in and be a clubhouse cancer. I'm shocked that at some point Steve Cohen and David Stearns weren't the ones who were brokering this. And maybe they did. In fairness to them, I'm not going to rule out the possibility that maybe they wanted to get them together. But the idea that Freddie Peralta was leading that seems a little nutty to me. Okay, we just don't know. First off, I don't think, the fact that these two guys aren't the best friends, is that the reason why the Mets are losing? No. Could it stop them from losing going forward? No. I mean, they absolutely could work it out. The biggest issue is how these contracts, if there's a shift with the economic system, how do you fit them both in? I thought it was so ridiculous of the Mets to effectively leak out Lindor's availability at the trade deadline. No one was going to take that contract, right? Because of the uncertainty about the labor agreement, the salary cap. What purpose did that serve other than to reinforce the idea that the Mets are not happy with him? It made no sense to let that get out there. They should have just said, until the economic situation is settled, they should have just said, you know what, Lindor, Soto off the table because they have full no trade clauses, and you have to work with them. What was the purpose of that?
Buster, that's why you're the best. Appreciate the time, and thanks for coming on. I know you're on with the guys every week in the morning, but we appreciate you making the time, especially in a busy week this week.
All right, Chris. I always love talking with you.
Yep. Buster Olney, ESPN senior MLB writer and insider, and, of course, the Baseball Tonight podcast, which is just a must-listen all the time because he just gives you great stuff and insight throughout the course of the season. The Peralta story and why maybe, after all, he was worth it. We'll explain as we talk about that next on ESPN New York.
There you were, surrounded by fans. Everybody remembers the game. Nobody remembers the guy coughing behind you. Till a few days later, at 2 a.m., you wake up with a fever and your throat's on fire. Now what? Urgent care? Closed. ER? Slammed. Telehealth? Maybe, but the pharmacy's closed. You needed a medical emergency kit. These aren't first aid kits. They contain essential prescriptions used for over 30 common conditions. Sinus and ear infection, UTIs, stomach bugs, traveler's diarrhea, and more on hand before you need them. Use your doctor-developed guidebook to select the right prescription or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. It's like an urgent care and drugstore at home. When you're sick, traveling, or stranded, you'll wish you'd ordered a medical emergency kit. Order online in minutes, and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
Congratulations to the New York Knicks. They are the 2026 NBA champions. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
When you manage an active facility, disruption is not an option. Tricon Construction specializes in healthcare, commercial, and industrial environments where work needs to happen without shutting operations down. That takes detailed planning, clear communication, and safe, disciplined execution, because when patients are inside, tenants are working, or production has to keep moving, every decision matters. Tricon understands how to work around your business professionally, safely, and efficiently. For complex work inside active facilities, choose Tricon Construction. Visit TriconBuilds.com. That's TriconBuilds.com.
Long Island is more exciting than ever at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel. This August, don't miss the Big 5 spin-off and your chance to win your share of $55,550. Be here on Friday, August 7th and 28th from 3 to 7 p.m. when one lucky winner will be drawn every hour to select 4 balls from the lottery drum to win up to $5,555 cash. Don't miss the Big 5 spin-off where Long Island wins at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel.
If gambling is a problem for you or someone you care about, please call the 24-hour toll-free helpline at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Harry Douglas here to help you get in on the sweet life with Cotton Candy 5-Hour Energy. It's that classic throwback cotton candy flavor, but with 0 sugar and a 5-hour energy boost. I keep these with me so I can tackle that sweet tooth with a tasty caffeine kick and no guilty sugary aftermath. Bring on the sweetness with Cotton Candy 5-Hour Energy Shots. Cotton Candy 5-Hour Energy. Available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You push yourself in everything you do, scanning headlines for insights, keeping an eye on the market. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
Maybe Freddie Peralta wasn't a waste of time after all. Carlin, ESPN New York, on the ESPN New York YouTube channel, 800-919-3776 at noon. That's right, my friends. I would call this unexpected. I would call this somewhat surprising as well. Story from Jorge Castillo of ESPN. And I'll just read the first couple of lines for you, and this is relation to the Mets, Juan Soto, and Francisco Lindor. Veteran pitcher Freddie Peralta, whose brief tenure with the Mets ended unceremoniously on Sunday with his trade to Tampa, called a meeting earlier this season for franchise cornerstones Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor to clear the air. With tension lingering in their second season as teammates, multiple sources told ESPN that Peralta arranged in June for the two stars to vent and work through their disconnect. Since then, sources told ESPN, Lindor and Soto's relationship has been noticeably warmer, with the players interacting more often. It was as men, not baseball players, a source said of the meeting. Peralta confirmed the meeting occurred, but declined to disclose the details of the conversation. Lindor acknowledged the meeting took place, but downplayed its significance, said it was, quote, more of a conversation like we always have with our group of Latinos, but I don't want to comment on the details. He said that in Spanish. Soto denied such a meeting happened before confirming that the relationship between him and Lindor has improved this season. There was no meeting, no discussion, he said in Spanish to Jorge Castillo. This year has been better. We've gotten along very well. We've learned from each other. So this is interesting to me. Could Freddie Peralta, just in and of that alone, have been worth it for the Mets? Now, we just heard from Buster, and we were obviously talking about what the future looks like with Lindor and Soto in New York. And obviously, a big chunk of this is going to be determined by what the financial picture is in baseball after this labor stoppage. So if that's the case, you now know that at least efforts have been made. And it's interesting to me that that happened in June. So Peralta comes in, obviously sees what the dynamic is, and sees that the situation is not being addressed. Now, as Buster kind of pointed out, you can't say that David Stearns or that Steve Cohen didn't play any role here. David Stearns certainly knew Peralta well enough to know the kind of influence that he could have in the clubhouse. And if Peralta took these two guys and got them together and got them on the same page, I mean, frankly, that could be the best development of the Mets' entire season. If that's true where it is. Nobody needs players to be best of friends. But you never want to see a situation when you have two stars like that. You have Lindor, who got here first, was the apple of Steve Cohen's eye, traded for him, gives him 10 years and $340 million, whatever the number was, and he's the face of the franchise, and then a couple of years later, he's not, because they double his salary and give that to Soto. And they're also both players from different parts of the Latino community, and I'm not smart enough to know the relationship between Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, but I've only gone based on what I have heard from others speak of it who are much more knowledgeable in it to me. And there's, there might be some issues there as well. Okay, all of that aside, they got together and had a venting session and spoke out, as he said, as men, not players. It's people, not players. I love the way that sounds. I love the way when I see this story, I mean, you always got to remember when you read about stories that are leaked out to the press, you always have to remember, who does that story benefit the most? Who benefits the most from that story? Truth is, Freddie Peralta would be the guy that would benefit the most from that story. So if he leaked it to maybe make himself look a little bit better on the way out the door, I honestly wouldn't even have that much of a problem with it, because Freddie had a rough go this year. He was getting hammered by Met fans and by media. I was certainly among them, and justifiably so, because always felt that Peralta was overrated before he got here, and then this year certainly did not perform. He has really benefited from the fact that Jet Williams has not had a great year in the minors, and that Brandon Sproat has not been great either, because those were two of the Mets' top 5 prospects that they traded away in order to get him. Think about that, though, for a second. Can Lindor and Soto be saved by Freddie Peralta? If so, I very well may take back everything I've ever said about Freddie Peralta and that trade this year, especially because those guys aren't performing. Now, if those guys were performing, that's a whole nother thing. But give Freddie credit, man. Like, you're a new guy coming into a situation where you're a free agent at the end of the year. You really could just be worried about yourself. And really, if we're being honest, should just be worried about yourself. Freddie Peralta, with that meeting and that willingness to bring two guys together on a team that he's not even, at that point in June, he knows he's probably not going to be there at the end of July, let alone after the season. Right? Still thinks enough of the situation to try to fix it and bring two people together. That speaks volumes about the person that he is. And if that's the case, man, he deserves a lot of credit, and that could end up being one of the single biggest developments in the Mets and where they're headed in the next couple of years. Look, money aside, between the two of them, they're making over $1.1 billion, okay? So, however this looks financially after the work stoppage, you may need to move on from one of them, and if so, that's likely going to be Lindor, right? You may need to. They both have no trades. You figure something out. But if the reason that you're splitting them up is not because they can't coexist, that's tremendous. I mean, I don't want to split them up, period. There was no reason to even consider trading away Lindor, which is, as you heard Buster at the end, makes this a little bit more maddening on the David Stearns front. As much as I can say you can't rule out David Stearns having a role in this and maybe getting in Peralta's ear like, hey, bud, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go kind of broker this and see if you can bring these two guys together. But then David Stearns lets it leak out that they might be willing to talk about Francisco Lindor before the deadline. How does that help? How does that help? You're trying to build relationships, and then you're trying to tear it down by letting Lindor know that you're willing to trade him. That's just dumb. And I'm not saying that Stearns leaked it. I don't know who leaked it. But if you were leaking it out there to see if you were going to get anybody to bite, that was just dumb. Nobody's biting on the contract, and you've just ticked off Lindor. Again, when things were seemingly getting better. Boy, that is really, really reading the situation poorly. You're trying to fix things, and then you just basically tick the guy off again. It's one thing, if you don't think that somebody pays attention when they're made the face of a franchise and paid $350 million, and then a couple of years later, their salary is doubled by somebody else? Doubled? Whew. That's a tough enough pill to swallow, and you might not have a lot of sympathy for the situation, and I would understand why. But if you take away just thinking about the money as people, think about your own situation. Your boss makes you the guy. He pays you a good amount of money, and then within a year or two later brings somebody else in who's of larger profile, and he doubles his salary. How are you going to feel about that? Probably not great. Probably not great. So having said that, I think this is, if Peralta brought them together, it's one of the great positive developments in the Mets season. I just hope none of it was undone by suggesting that Lindor could have been had at the deadline. What was the point? What value were you getting on Lindor? I understand the amount of money that's left that he's owed, but he's still a really good player, and he still can help you win, and there's no point in trading away somebody at the lower end of their value. You were already doing that with Freddie Peralta. I'll get a couple of calls in real quick before Jordan's going to join us here momentarily from Giants Camp. Mike in Connecticut on ESPN New York. Mike, what do you got?
Hey, Chris, do you remember the press conference that Stearns gave where he said, someone asked him what players are safe and who's not safe? And he said, the young guys and our future Hall of Famers, plural. Mm-hmm. Doesn't that mean Lindor was safe?
That's what he said in that press conference leading up to it. It doesn't mean it also got leaked out somewhere else. And when those things get leaked out, they get leaked out purposefully.
But why would we automatically assume that it was Stearns leaking it out? That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, whether it was Stearns or somebody on his staff, somebody wanted somebody to know that maybe Lindor could be had. That was the point. So, just think about it. Think about it from this standpoint, okay? When something like that gets leaked, always consider who benefits from that. Who would benefit
you made that
from
point
that?
Before. Yep, I get it.
Yeah. The person who benefits from that, or the people who benefits from that, is the Mets if they're trying to make other people think that Lindor is available just to see if anyone wants to kick the tires around the deadline. My point is, leaking that out, whoever that is, did not help. All that did was potentially tick off Lindor even more. Speaking of ticked off, Jordan Raanan with us from West Virginia, from the Greenbrier, and he's not ticked off, but listen, you and the head coach are poking and prodding each other these days, Cowboy. What's going on?
I thought it's just a nice, friendly back and forth. I don't know what you're talking about. This is nothing compared to some previous coaches.
All right. So here it is. This is Jordan and John Harbaugh yesterday about Jaxson Dart's 15-yard penalty when he launched the football at the head of Greg Newsome.
I think it's a 15-yard penalty for taunting, so he backed up the extra point and had to do it again.
Did you say anything to Jaxson there?
I think he understands that we don't want it, for the game-winning extra point, we don't want it to be a 50-yard extra point. Do you think I need to say anything in that case? Pretty clear cut, right?
You would think, but I don't know. Some coaches would probably give their 2 cents.
I love the fact that you're right there going back. Well, yeah, I think so, but I don't know. Maybe some coaches would let them know their 2 cents.
You know what's going through my head there?
What?
Who are some coaches? Do we think Brian Daboll is just going to be like, yeah, he'll learn by himself. I'm just going to be quiet, take it in stride, not say anything? I mean, did you see him on the sideline?
Yeah.
Did we see the way he operated? So, yeah, that was my whole point. I'm intrigued to see how he handles it. Clearly a different approach.
Clearly. Jordan Raanan, of course, covering the Giants for ESPN NFL Nation and for us as well. So with that in mind, my friend, let's talk about this. I probably am going to be accused of being too much of an alarmist, but the maturity thing with Jaxson Dart, this doesn't help. This doesn't help me, Jordan. And Yeah, I don't think it's – I think your question is fully within line because if he thinks it's cut and dried, well, clearly it wasn't because it happened. So the maturity thing to me is really what I'm most worried about with this guy as a player. Am I wrong to be worried by that?
I think it's a fair critique. I mean, it's something he, put himself in a difficult situation with the Donald Trump introduction, right? He, put himself in a difficult situation by trying to run people over last year, every single play, right? So, I mean, it's clear it is a thing, and I think we would probably could chalk it up to it's a young quarterback, he'll learn. Let's just take Baker Mayfield, for example. Clearly different situations, but he was a guy who once upon a time was in that category, right? A little young, a little immature, doing things that could be counterproductive. But as they mature and as they get older, I think these are things that he'll learn. I don't think those kind of things. I mean, he's flipping the ball in guys' faces, especially his own teammates, because trust me, the defense did not take that well. You heard some yelling from the other side of the field, to Jaxson Dart about that specifically. If you're doing that in year 7, okay, we got major problems. But I think he'll learn from those kind of things. But it is a fair concern. And part of, hey, can he mature and grow into the quarterback that everybody wants him to be? And right now, it's still a we'll see.
Jordan Raanan with us from Giants camp right now. So your read on him as far as adapting to the offense is what at this point? Because there were the whispers in the offseason that maybe it wasn't coming quite as fast as they would have liked. How has he looked?
It's a process. It hasn't been a great start to camp for him or the offense. I think that's pretty clear. The defense is ahead of them. To be fair, we have to look at this objectively for a second. While he hasn't been great, there are some obstacles stacked against him here, right? He's learning a new offense, second straight year. He doesn't have his number one receiver out there. He basically, not that he can't use it, but you don't want your quarterback running constantly at practice. That kind of defeats the purpose of working on a lot of the past concepts and stuff. So you put all these things together, it kind of works against him a little bit. That being said, hasn't been a great start for camp for him and the offense. They haven't been able to consistently hit plays. He seems to have a little rhythm with Isaiah Likely, but everyone else right now, Malachi Fields hits a play a day, but there really hasn't been a ton of positives for the first-team offense. But it is early in camp, and I don't think that's something that I would be overly concerned about. Get back to me in 3 or 4 weeks, though.
Everybody's been positive about the Neighbors situation. Where do we stand with it?
We stand to the point where I think as long as there's no setback, Malik Neighbors seems to be trending towards being on the field week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys. He had a 1 day off a few days back, came back on the field. He hasn't really opened it up too much yet, but I've seen him run well. I heard the numbers for him, in regards to how fast he's running are very optimistic. And I think the team in general is using a plan that is, okay, we have, with dates today, I don't know. It's early August still, right? So
yeah, it's the 5th.
5 weeks or so?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
We have 5 weeks till the opener, something like that?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, so
Jordan, don't ask me to read calendars. I don't know. I'm guessing. Sure, it's 5 weeks. The opener's the 13th.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, you're supposed to be helping me out here. Come on, all right? I need a little help.
One of us is in West Virginia, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, that would be me. That's pretty clear here. Not asking anyone here for help. I'll tell you that much. 5 weeks or so, they seem to have him on a plan to be 5 weeks, Malik Neighbors being ready for week 1.
Odell Beckham, is this real? You start to hear he's getting open, and they're starting to, put him a little bit further up the depth chart. Is this real right now, or is this, early in training camp?
I think he's getting an opportunity. He's on that bubble. He's going to have to win the spot. There are receivers ahead of him. Whether Malik Neighbors is ready for week 1 will go a long way to determining whether he's on the roster. He has a shot. He looks like he can still play to some degree. He's clearly not prime Odell anymore. That explosiveness is not there. But enough where you see enough where he can get open pretty consistently, and he can do some things. But when you're talking about 5th, 6th, 7th wide receiver, because he doesn't really provide special teams value. So this will all factor into the equation. Like, does he make more sense than Braxton Berrios? If Braxton Berrios is going to be their punt returner, kick returner, probably not, right? So he has a little uphill battle to fight there, but I do think he can still play. He's showing that he can get open, and he's going to have to do it consistently now for a couple more weeks. But definitely one of the key battles to keep an eye on is the wide receivers there. Odell, Berrios, Juju Smith-Schuster, even throw Darius Slayton as part of that mix. If they think that one of these guys is outperforming him, I don't think that'll be the case, but that's kind of where he is now.
Jordan Raanan joining us from West Virginia at Giants camp. Abdul Carter, what are we looking like in camp? I mean, there's all been very positive reports here, Jordan. I'm very curious as to the Harbaugh-Abdul Carter dynamic and what that looks like.
Yeah, well, right now, I think you have John Harbaugh just having the cachet and the track record where everyone, fully respects and understands what he's doing. And that it's almost like you're willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because of who he has been, right? Whereas the previous Giants coaches didn't have that. Right? We're talking about Joe Judge, Brian Dable, Ben McAdoo, even Pat Shurmur, because he didn't really have any success when he was the head coach of the Browns. Like, John Harbaugh comes in with a different resume, different level of resume, a different level of respect. And it's almost like whatever he's telling them, I feel like the Giants at this point, they're 0-0, they're undefeated, are willing to take it and say, I'm willing to try and listen to what he does. So our Abdul Carter's part of that. You've heard he's done a better job of preparing and getting ready, and you can see on the field, the dude is super talented, right? If he takes care of what he's supposed to take care of, Chris, you're talking about a Pro Bowl, All-Pro type player. If he does what he's supposed to do off the field, if he works the way he's supposed to work, it's strictly up to him. That talent is there. It plays at this level. You see it. I mean, he has some success against Andrew Thomas at practice, and Andrew Thomas is a super high-level player. Like, he's the kind of guy that can have success against Andrew Thomas. The mediocre, above-average guys are going to get dominated every time by Andrew Thomas. That's how good he is. Abdul Carter can be a star in the league. He has that talent. You see it at times in training camp. And I asked John Harbaugh, what does he need to do to get to that next level? His answer, consistency.
All right. You're not going to be thrilled with me for this. What's the whole What's the whole Lil Jordan Raanan thing?
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, you've seen me in person. I'm not that short.
No, you're not short.
5'11".
But where's this coming from?
Yeah.
So you played golf the other day down there with a couple of the other writers, and the next thing I know on Twitter or X, I see that they're calling you Lil Jordan Raanan, like Lil Jordan Humphrey, and then there's like an AI video of you as this tiny little guy. What are you, like 5'10"? Like what happened?
Yeah, 5'5". My license is 5'11".
Okay.
Yeah. So here's the deal. We did something the night before. I did a podcast. And on one side of me is Bobby Skinner, who's one of my co-hosts, who's like 6'8". He's a monster. He's a massive human being, right?
Right.
So he is sitting to my right. Dan Duggan comes and sits to my left. He's 6'2".
Right.
I don't have the best posture, so I'm maybe not sitting up completely straight there either. And compared to those guys, I look like I'm a little person. So the fans were like, how tall is Jordan? How short is this guy? And so fans started taking AI and making me into a little person. And now it seems to have spread like wildfire. There's me in a carriage getting pushed.
Well, the carriage is the one that I saw. The one that you getting wheeled around like a baby.
There's the other one where Dan and Connor have, like, they're holding my hands and swinging me, like, kids swinging between the two parents. That's a good one. There's one they made with me on Pat Leonard's lap with, like, the pinwheel hat, the multicolored pinwheel hat on. That one's completely ridiculous.
First of all, I'd be more offended by sitting on Pat Leonard's
on
lap.
Top of the umbrella. Yeah. No comment on that.
No comment.
I'm gonna end it. Yeah, let's end it there. That's what it's about. But yeah, but the funny part is, my friends are like, from home are like texting me. They're eating it up. They love it.
Yeah,
they think it's hilarious.
Here's the way I'd look at it if I were you. If you're going to be compared to anybody from Austin Powers, you're going to go mini-me or you're going to go fat bastard like it would be me. I'd take mini-me if I were you.
So you're fat bastard and I'm mini-me.
Apparently.
I'm not. When I woke up this morning, I wasn't thinking that I wanted to compare myself to mini-me. Wasn't like what I was aiming for, but I guess you got to take what you can get.
I'm just looking for silver linings, brother. That's all.
Okay.
Godspeed.
All right. I like the positivity.
Appreciate it, Jordan. Thanks.
Anytime. I'll see you soon, Chris.
Yep. Jordan Raanan, ESPN NFL Nation, covering the Giants for us. It's Carlin, ESPN New York. 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN on the Giants, on Jaxson Dart's lack of maturity and why this continues to be an issue. On the way, though, am I the nozzle? We find out in moments on ESPN New York.
Hey, New York and New Jersey. Commitment issues? No problem. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $25 a month forever, as in for life. Switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, you may experience slower speeds. Pay $25 a month as long as you stay on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now, or call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Hey! My dad is bringing home the best birthday cake ever!
It was my 5th birthday, and my dad was bringing home the cake.
Should have been here a half hour ago.
The cake never made it, and neither did my dad.
911, what's your emergency?
That was the day a drunk driver killed my dad.
Daddy?
Impaired drivers take lives. Think.
Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee. Aired in cooperation with the New York State Broadcasters Association.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. At Rings End, they're there to help realize your modern design visions. That's why they partner with Marvin. Engineered for big ideas, Marvin modern windows and doors deliver effortless elegance, expansive views, and industry-leading innovation, all in a modular system designed to meet the exacting principles of modern architecture. Experience Marvin Modern at a Rings End showroom today and create something stunning with them. Rings End is a certified Marvin installing retailer.
Hi, this is Don LaGreca. Just like the New Jersey Devils bring intensity on the ice, Viking Pest Control brings the same level of protection to your home. And I know because I use Viking at my own place. The season may be over, but pests are always in play. So it's time to lock in your off-season defense. As the pest control provider and proud partner of the Devils, Viking delivers 45 years of trusted experience to keep ants, cockroaches, stinging insects, rodents, mosquitoes, and more out of your zone. And when you bundle pest control mosquito services, you score big savings. One call, one company, total peace of mind. Visit VikingPest.com. Protecting your home inside and out.
It's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering buy one, get one 40% off windows and doors and no payments, no interest for 24 months. Some restrictions may apply. See local showroom for details. Offer ends August 31st, 2026.
Less than 4 in 10 kids aged 6 through 12 are playing sports regularly. 4 in 10 kids? Let it sink in. Just 4 in 10 kids. ESPN is building a nationwide coalition powered by Disney called Take Back Sports, with the purpose of training more coaches, expanding access, and creating community-driven sports programming that puts kids and fun first. We're working on that story. We hope you'll join us.
Visit takebacksports.org to learn more.
ESPN New York chat over on YouTube. Giants people, and I do not blame them. So many Giant fans are so concerned about the kicking situation. I do not blame them after Graham Gano. What a complete and utter nightmare that's been for years at this point. Dominic Zavada, we're going to get fired up. Ben Sauls, who's ready? Who's ready? I'm ready for Am I the Nozzle? Let's play it.
There are two sides to every story.
Everybody need to keep a cool booty, okay?
We're here to judge.
I plead the fifth.
Am I right?
Adoy.
Or am I the nozzle?
I was wrong.
So here's the deal. We all find ourselves in situations where we look around and we start to wonder, am I the crazy one? Am I the one who's in the wrong on all of this? You look around, like, this can't be right. Like, I'm not the idiot here, right? Is it on me or is it on them? So Tom Bauer is here to present situations to us, and we will evaluate whether or not the person in question is the nozzle or someone else. Tom, floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. And for the first Am I the Nozzle today, I'm going to be looking right at Yankees fans, myself included, since
Really?
I am one. Oh, yeah, that's right. So I'm just going to ask you a general question because, yeah, George Lombard's debut last night, and every time you see a new Yankee starting shortstop, especially a prospect that's risen up in the system, you immediately compare him to, who would that be? Of course. We did this with Anthony Volpe. Didn't work out so well for the Yankees, at least so far. Maybe he still has a shot to do something. Probably not, but whatever. George Lombard Jr. has a great debut, hits a home run, turns a double play, trips at second base, but that's not the point. Because he's the top prospect, of course, people still want to compare him to Derek Jeter. At least some people do. Maybe that's a vocal minority. Maybe it is the majority of Yankees fans secretly. Are they the nozzle if they want to compare George Lombard Jr. to Derek Jeter one game into his professional career?
Full on nozzle. Full on. No, what are we doing? There's no need for this. There's no need to ever invoke the name. And it's not just them. Mark Sanchez writes a story in the New York Post today about George Lombard Jr. And he is somebody who covers the Yankees. And Trent Sellers played alongside George Lombard for a couple of months in 2024 and a few months in 2025. Okay? Trent Sellers played against him, or played alongside him in Double-A, Somerset, New Jersey. Quote, he is the next Derek Jeter. Can we just stop? Nobody's ever Derek Jeter, right? I'm not asking him to be just the next George Lombard. I know that's, it's crazy. We're always going to do this kind of thing. But why are you putting that on the kid right now? I didn't even love the fact that the time that they chose to call him up was right at the trade deadline, and they sent down Volpe and they sent down Dominguez, which is basically saying the last two guys we anointed, they stink. They're going back to AAA. This is the guy. And you're putting it on him to help be the turnaround of the Yankees offense? Yeah. No, leave Jeter out of it. If you're saying Jeter, did you personally compare him to Jeter?
I've probably had those thoughts deep in the darkest parts of my mind, but realistically, I'm not going to come out on the station and say,
First of all,
this is
you were
going to be
like
the next
9
Jeter.
when Jeter played. Like, seriously, when Jeter retired, you were 12? Is that right?
He retired in 2012?
2014.
2014. So I would be about 14 I'd have been 15 at the time.
15. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Does that make you feel old?
No. It just is like you got the bare end of Jeter. You didn't even really get prime Jeter.
I don't know about
and
that.
You're comparing him to Jeter.
Listen, I was born in 1999. I'm practically a 90s kid. I know all about the Jeter.
No, you're not. You're not a 90s kid. I'm double checking that Jeter retired in 2014. Yeah, it was after the 2014 season.
Yeah, so then I was 15 at the time.
Yeah, okay. Listen, nobody should ever compare anybody in a Yankee uniform to Jeter ever. How about that? Let's leave it at that. Doesn't matter what position they play. How do you think Volpe feels right now? I'm going down to learn how to play second base in Scranton.
He can be the next Robbie Cano. How about that?
He's going to do steroids 8 times?
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, boy.
Next.
That's a shot at Robinson Cano.
You and the fans and everybody. Oh, no, that's just fact about Robinson Cano. You and the fans and everybody who's doing that, like you're drunk. You're drunk. Don't do that. What's the point? It doesn't help anybody.
We just want the best for our guys. That's all. At any rate.
Yes, if you want the best for him, don't do that. That's not the best for him. Go ahead.
At any rate, we're going to move on to the Mets here because this is a very funny quote from Keith Hernandez. That was on the Mets fire sale. They asked him to react about it on SNY on one of the Mets broadcasts. And, well, his quote, they definitely shuffled, brought in the truck, and took out all the garbage. Later in the game, Keith Hernandez, I said, got out the garbage. That's a poor choice of words. I can't believe that word came out of my mouth, so my apologies.
Well, they definitely shuffled, brought in the truck, and took out all the garbage, so to speak.
Oh, boy.
Pure honesty from Keith. I love it.
But he did apologize later. How about that?
He did, but honestly, do you have to apologize if you've had that crap of a year?
Keith is not saying anything that the fans aren't thinking.
Exactly.
That's just a moment of, as a broadcaster, somebody is going to get bent out of shape by that word. And I understand why. You don't want to call people as a broadcaster garbage. Like, that's where you can't do that. And I get why Keith apologized. Because, you are talking about another human being. But at the same time, like, as far as how they were playing and the guys who left, I mean, the performance was garbage. How about that? Nobody was parsing Keith's words among the fans. They knew what he was saying, and I don't know how many people really truly had trouble with it. But put it this way. If I'm doing a game, I'm never saying that, yeah, thank God they got rid of that garbage. I'm not doing that.
As Don LaGreca would say.
Look at this garbage. Look at this garbage. I don't want to do it.
Oh, boy.
So
that wasn't even the really bad look at this garbage, was it?
See, I thought it was that, but then so they were labeled the same slug in the system. I think this is the right one.
Look at this garbage. Look at this garbage.
That's classic Donnie.
Microphone fell off the stand. Nobody does it better than Don. Nobody does the rant better than Don.
So
he truly, it's like someone who's on medication, okay? Don does not go to therapy because he wants the air to be where he vents and his therapy to be. So it would be like, as somebody like me, it's like if I didn't take my medication for a couple of days because I wanted to soup up the show a little bit more. That makes sense. Go ahead.
So, Keith Hernandez, yay or nay on the nozzle here?
No, I'm not going to call Keith a nozzle. Absolutely not. Listen, a big reason why we love Keith is that Keith speaks his mind, and that's what that's why he connects so well with the fans, That's why Gary, Keith, and Ron, that's a very special bond that they have with the fans and why the fans love them so much. Keith's personality is a big reason why. It's just a misspeak. Keith is not a nozzle. Absolutely not.
Of course. Now, I've got one more for you today, and this was something I experienced on my little stadium tour last week.
All right, so Tom went on a stadium tour on the West Coast. He went to Oracle Park in San Francisco. He went to the Angels Stadium in Anaheim, and he went to Dodger Stadium, correct?
That is correct. Okay. And at all three ballparks, I experienced this behavior.
Really? Okay.
So, well, first of all, I would like to shout out the Angels fans that were chanting "sell the team" throughout multiple innings. They did a wonderful job. I have a video of that on my phone. That was funny.
Okay.
But that's not where I'm going at here. So, Chris, when you're sitting at a seat in the middle of a baseball game, or maybe it's a different sporting event, what is one of your pet peeves that might happen as you are watching the action unfold?
Well, it obviously would be people getting up and down during the innings and going up and down the line and, everybody having to stand up and all that.
Exactly, because I experienced that many a time out in California. And I don't know, that's something that universally happens at baseball stadiums, and hockey, maybe they do it at other sports. Hockey does it perfectly because the ushers will tell you, or hold you up rather, before you go back into the aisles until there is a stoppage in play.
A lot of times in basketball, they do that too.
And good for basketball for doing that. That is the right way to handle it. Rather, in baseball, you have people that walk in front of you as you are trying to watch the game, watch each pitch, watch each play, and usually you'll miss something relevant happening in the game because somebody decides, I'm going to walk in front of this person during the middle of the game. Are they a nozzle for that type of behavior, or is that just the course of baseball? You just kind of have to let it happen.
The only case in which they're not a nozzle is if they have some sort of an emergency. That's it.
Well, I would excuse that.
Yeah, no, but otherwise, can they get up in between batters? Yes, they could. But while somebody is at the plate, should you be getting up? Absolutely not. In no way at a baseball game should you be doing that, because you're not getting, especially now with the pitch clock, you're not getting out of that row if you're in the middle of that row before the next pitch. And so you're absolutely potentially causing somebody to miss something. Yes. Baseball, they have to be a little bit more self-policing. I could not agree with you more on that. Unless there's some sort of a bathroom emergency in the moment, no. It's unacceptable. 100% nozzle behavior. Could not agree with you more. Once again, Tom, you have crystallized my thoughts. Well done.
Thank you. I try and be a crystal of thoughts.
There it is again. Carlin, ESPN New York, last call, 800-919-3776. Last chance to get through on the phone lines. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. 800-919-3776 on George Lombard Jr.'s debut last night. And if Anthony Volpe is ever going to see the big leagues as a Yankee again, on the lack of maturity from Jaxson Dart, and on the Kenyon Sadiq injury and how concerning it is for the Jet offense. Get on board. Your last chance also at the ESPN New York YouTube channel.
There you were, surrounded by fans. Everybody remembers the game. Nobody remembers the guy coughing behind you. Till a few days later, at 2 a.m., you wake up with a fever and your throat's on fire. Now what? Urgent care? Closed. ER? Slammed. Telehealth? Maybe, but the pharmacy's closed. You needed a medical emergency kit. These aren't first aid kits. They contain essential prescriptions used for over 30 common conditions. Sinus and ear infection, UTIs, stomach bugs, traveler's diarrhea, and more on hand before you need them. Use your doctor-developed guidebook to select the right prescription or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. It's like an urgent care and drugstore at home. When you're sick, traveling, or stranded, you'll wish you'd ordered a medical emergency kit. Order online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
There are a million reasons to love New York. Making your budget stretch isn't one of them. According to an independent study, Amazon prices average 14% lower than other retailers. Get food, fashion, furniture, and more shipped straight to your building. Plus, another study found Amazon Prescription Pass customers pay nearly 1/3 less out of pocket. Learn more at aboutamazon.com.
Rich Eisen here. We talk a lot about battles in sports. Teams battling through adversity, athletes fighting for every yard. The toughest warriors I've ever seen, though, aren't on the field. They're kids fighting cancer. Their families standing beside them. Doctors, nurses, caregivers. That's why I'm proud to support Hyundai Hope on Wheels. For over 28 years, they've helped fund pediatric cancer research, raising more than $303 million and supporting over 40,000 children. Learn more and donate at HyundaiUSA.com/Hope on Wheels.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and covered selections.
This is the Michael K. Show.
I think that when you watch a team every single day, I think we get more of a harsh perspective because teams that are having quote-unquote good years, the injury-decimated Yankees play those teams, and they seem to handle them quite well. Maybe things are not as bad as we all think they are because we're watching them every single day.
The Michael K. Show, weekdays at 1 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. Presented by the Parisman Firm.
Go ahead, fat man. We'll leave you out there without an oar. Paddle yourself back to shore. 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN. It's Carlin with you. Get over on the ESPN New York YouTube chat as well. The whole thing with that has really bothered me with the Yankees offense continues to kind of rear its head. And if you're paying attention now, this is what kind of scares me. And Buster talked about this a little bit earlier in the context that, well, Will Warren is going to be in the pen eventually, and Weathers is going to be in the pen eventually, so that will help strengthen things up. Okay, but look at a game like last night, and you see Aaron Boone turning to the closer for a 4-out save in a 2-0 game in the 8th inning. I have no problem with it because going to Bednar in the moment was the right thing to do. It did not feel in the moment as if they had much going on right with Hedrick, who put a couple of runners on, and the next thing you know, you're in a bit of a squeeze box. So you go to the closer for a 4-out save, no problem with it. But you're having to do that a little bit more lately when you're scoring 2 runs in a game, when you don't have much wiggle room. The winning the games in the margins, for me with the Yankees, that's not how they're designed. Like they can't afford to make the mistakes that maybe the Dodgers or other teams can, but that's not the way they're supposed to be drawn up. Without Judge, without Bellinger, there are obviously massive holes in the lineup. Without Stanton, this is a problem. And you cannot afford to lose games in the margins. But all this does in the short term is add more pressure to the bullpen, to guys who have done an amazing job for you, but you continue to go back to that well, eventually it's going to come up dry. So it's bothersome to me when you start to see how the lack of offense is going to affect the rest of the team. It is really remarkable if we take a step back, though, and recognize that Judge, Stanton, Bellinger are all out, and they're still winning games here. That is remarkable. No matter how they looked, no matter how it looked over the weekend, they still won 2 out of 3 in Chicago. Even if they were games where you had to squeeze it out, they're still finding ways. And the ways that they're still finding is through pitching. They are pitching so exceptionally well. And even last night, nobody pegs last night as a night where you're going to shut out the opponent. Nobody pegs it as that kind of a night. You have Weathers on the mound, and the rest of the bullpen, you're going to expect to get that kind of performance? No, you're not. So, yeah, maybe it'll get strengthened later in the year when you can turn, if Rodon's back and you're fully healthy in the rotation, that you could turn Will Warren loose in the pen and you can turn Weathers loose in the pen. Great. In the playoffs, that'd be fantastic. I just, at the moment, don't want to be wearing out a bullpen. I need to get some more offense. And I've added some guys who can certainly help, but I am going to be questioning whether or not I did enough until the rest of it comes back and water seeps its level back to what the offense is supposed to be. Now, this is something that I did not get a chance to hear yesterday from Aaron Boone. This was before the game. And here he is about having conversations with both Volpe and Dominguez about being sent down.
Tough conversations, obviously, two people that, we love and think highly of and think still have very bright big league careers ahead of them. So kind of share some of my experience with them. I got to the big leagues and had to go back, and those are humbling, challenging, can be humbling and challenging times, but they can also be part of helping you become a more refined and better player. And in both cases, I expect them to both have really strong, long careers, and this will be part of their story, and hopefully things that help them get to another level that we believe they're capable of.
Well, with Lombard now here and doing what he did last night, I'm not expecting him to continue to hit at that level. But if Lombard is going to field like he has throughout the course of the season and did last night in coming up with a pretty darn nice play in the hole, you're not going to see Anthony Volpe playing shortstop for the Yankees unless there's an injury again. I don't think there's any need for that. And there's a reason why they sent him down and said, go play second base. We'll figure you out for the future. That is about next year. Anthony Volpe's Yankee season, in my mind, is essentially over with, unless they're just going to add him as someone that's been in the big leagues before, that's been in the playoffs before, and they would like to have on the bench. Other than that, I don't see where there's even going to be a role for Volpe on the team in the future, unless it's at second base next season and they feel like he has a chance to be a really good second baseman and somebody that is the long-term solution in replacing Jazz Chisholm. All right, that'll do it for me. Grassa up next, in for the Keister today on ESPN New York. Then later today, it is Don, it is Hahn, it is Rosenberg. All coming your way on ESPN New York and the ESPN New York YouTube channel.
D'Agostino, Law Bite Back. This is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates. Did you know Social Security takes money out of every paycheck you earn? Paycheck after paycheck. And you're not supposed to touch that money until you're 67? What if you can't work? What if you need that money now? The system is challenging and most people get denied. That's a fact. D'Agostino & Associates has the experience to win, and we win a lot. If you filed for Social Security disability